Let's do this. Get ready for the Dirt Life Show.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 44 of the Dirt Life Show. Thank you guys very, very much for joining us tonight. We hope a bunch of people log on and comment. We got some awesome topics to talk about tonight. We're pretty bummed but pumped at the same time. The Supercross was just ended on Sunday. We're excited because of some of the stuff that happened at the races, so we'll get into that. We have some other stuff to talk about. Silver State 300's coming up this weekend, so that's going to be pretty cool. We got a lot of people that are going up there to race that desert race. We're going to do a hat giveaway this week too, so you guys got to pay attention for that bad boy. That'll be pretty cool. So yeah, we're just pumped to have you guys around with us. Really appreciate it. So welcome to episode 44 of the Dirt Life Show. As usual, I'm Georgie Hamill, and to my left I got co-host extraordinaire Casey Peck.
What's up?
How's things going with you, man? It's been hot as shit in Arizona.
It's hot.
It's really hot.
Agreed.
I feel like 100, like as we get older, 105, 110 is way hotter than it used to be.
Yeah, when we were little kids, it was like 120.
Yeah, and we were like, oh, fine, let's go outside and play.
Maybe not 120.
So I was at the drugstore today. Well, that's not bad. At Walgreens today, and the guy was telling me, checkout register guys, they're always like trying to chat it up. So he was telling me,
the good ones are.
Yeah, the good ones are. But I was trying to dip out, so it was kind of like blocking me, but I didn't want to be a jerk to him. But anyway, so he was telling me, he goes, man, it's going to be like 105, 110 this week, and it's going to be like one of those off years. And I was like, an off year? Like, what is it, like a leap year or something? Did we talk about weather? And he's like, yeah, an off year, like when that year that they shut down the Phoenix airport because it got too hot and the planes couldn't fly. And I was like, in my head, I was like, dude, I got to go because this conversation is going to get deep right now.
It is.
So it was pretty funny, though, and the guy was being super nice, but it brought, like, to my attention, I left the Walgreens walking out, and I was like, shit, when am I going to be able to go bicycle riding? Because I always go in the afternoon.
I know, you're host.
So
you have to get a light.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
go
get
at
up
night.
early.
Yeah. How is it riding those mountain bikes, like in the dirt with the lights and stuff?
It's awesome.
On the trails.
Because it takes, like, your normal regular trail that you're used to. That
and
maybe
totally changes it?
Yeah, that maybe you're kind of over, it's too easy or whatever, and it's totally different.
Is it hard? Like, is it hard to see and stuff, or like the light's pretty good?
No, good lights, yeah.
Dang, that would be pretty cool, actually.
If it gets dusty, I mean, it does get dusty, and if there's no wind, then it can get kind of, a little foggy.
Yeah.
But not terrible.
Okay, cool. Well, so one of these days I'll have to do that. But, yeah, so Supercross kind of just ended. Well, it started back up, and then it ended, like, super quick because it was 7 rounds in, 3 weeks?
I know. It's like a weird, bad relationship or something. Like, it was going good, and then it broke up, and then it came back, and then it was good, and it was, like, at a high, right? Because I thought it was really good. But now it's over again.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're like,
yeah, so
right.
It's like super depressing. I was all pumped, like Wednesdays, I get to watch Supercross Sunday, and then now it's like nothing. But motocross is going to start back up, and the Supercross, the way they did it, I think that there's going to be some cool changes and some cool things that happen as far as like, I don't want to say production, but as far as like the way that they do stuff and like having maybe 2 races in one city, or I don't know, just some cool stuff that happens. So we'll talk to our buddy Steve Westfall. He's going to call in today and chat with us a little bit, maybe around 6:15 or so. And
they had a great finisher, didn't they?
Can you imagine that? Like, so for those that aren't watching Supercross religiously like Casey and I, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Racing team swept the podium at the final round in Salt Lake City. And I was trying to think in my head, like, I don't know when that has ever been done.
Yeah, I don't know.
It must be like maybe before our time or something.
Yeah, maybe back in the golden Honda days or something.
Well, because most factory teams only have 2 riders.
That's true.
So, like, even in the 250 class or the lights class, when do they have 3 riders on the podium? Most only have 2 on each coast. Right. So to have a manufacturer, so we got to ask Steve and see.
It would
what he
almost
says.
Have to be why it would probably be even more.
Privateer.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So what I'm getting at is probably even more impossible that it happened, but maybe it did.
Dude, yeah. So we got to ask him because that's like phenomenal, first of all, and to have it go to a really good guy like the team manager Steve Westfall, Scuba Steve, is really, really cool to just have that happen.
Well, and I think our listeners are starting to, kind of know Steve. Steve's a friend of the show. I feel like if they were watching that, I know I was feeling it for him. Like, dude, this is so rad. And then remember all the things he said about how hard they're working, and all the other teams are working hard too, but we have a personal connection.
Yeah, so it's a little different.
Yeah, so it's a little different. So here's the chief mechanic or whatever, crew chief, that you just know they're putting everything into this, and then have it finish out. Maybe not the series how they wanted it to, but Zach's first win, and it's just amazing. Yeah,
it
super
is cool.
pumped.
Yeah, we got to ask him about the seat falling off.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you guys for commenting in already. We got a few comments. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Fast Flying Film, and thanks, Sam, for commenting in already. I think tonight's show is going to be pretty sweet, man. There's another topic that we're going to cover too. At around 6:30, we're going to talk with Sara Price. Sara Price has been on the show before. We had our feature episode back a couple months ago, and it was really awesome to talk to her because you see the passion that she has for off-road racing and just racing in general, right? She likes driving fast cars. She likes doing stunt work. She likes doing all kinds of cool stuff. And
I forgot about the stunt stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We didn't get to ask her too much about that on the show either. But now she has the opportunity to drive for Chip Ganassi Racing in what's called Exrtreme.E Rally Racing. So that's, I guess it's a new series, and I'm not sure if Chip Ganassi started it or if somebody else did. But anyways, it's like one of those Dakar rally cars, but it's electric.
I totally thought it was like Indy or something, or open wheel something. So I'm even more intrigued.
Yeah.
That it's
Yeah, because all the Chip Ganassi stuff is all street stuff, right, or asphalt stuff. So I think it's going to be crazy to talk about that because,
cool.
First of all, I've been saying this for years. Like, they make side-by-sides called Nikola, side-by-sides that are all electric, and they got independent motors on each wheel and things like that. And I've always told everybody, if you had one of those in any type of UTV desert racing, you'd wax everybody if you could figure out how to disconnect and switch out the batteries quick enough.
Yeah, right.
So at pits, because they have 500 horsepower stock.
Oh my gosh, and independent. And I wonder, maybe you could limp around with one of them broken. I don't know.
Well, let's just say you had drivetrain issues. You turn down the front motors to like 40%.
Yeah, there
right?
you go. Right.
Or whatever, and then so they don't you can do all this stuff. You can do so much cool stuff,
and probably all with computers controlling it.
Well, and you put in a good computer system or a good co-driver, they could control it on the fly.
How crazy is that?
Could you imagine?
No.
And if you get stuck, you can put a bunch more pull on the motors in the front, and you can try to pull yourself out. There's so many cool things that you could do with it. But I think it'd be really cool to talk with Sara about it because I'm sure that she'll get to experience some of the similar things that were ideas in my head in reality.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And like I had mentioned before, Silver State is coming up this weekend. So it's a Silver State 300 up in Nevada. It's a Best in the Desert race. There's going to be tons of side-by-sides out there. I think we talked about it last week that the Score Baja 500 got canceled. So all the guys that were going to go there are going to go to the Silver State 300 and race. So
it's going to be good.
Yeah, so good luck to all the drivers out there. It's going to be awesome. I know that Craig Scanlon's going to go out there. The Matlocks are going to go out there. And I'm missing a bunch of people, but good luck to all the drivers that go out there. We can't wait to see the actual race happen, and we're going to be paying attention on the live tracking and all that stuff for those guys too. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was kind of like what everybody's doing for going from Score to Best in the Desert, just changing it up, right? So Sara Price is a really good example of changing it up. Our featured guest tonight, Jake Yubeta, is a really, really good example of changing it up.
And he had a plan B and didn't realize it.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool. I love that. We always talk about that.
Exactly. So, for all of these situations, it's going to be really, really cool to talk about with them. Jake grew up in a small town here in Tucson, Arizona, kind of with us basically, and he really liked living the dirt life too. He liked riding quads. He did all the fun stuff in off-road. He did race short course in UTVs. He raced it in trucks. What was the class called? Super Lights.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool with the little rotary motors. That was neat to see that stuff happen, and he was ahead of my off-road racing time, and he also did RC cars. So I think that's where you probably met him, right?
Yeah,
or maybe
definitely.
you knew him before.
Yep. No, it was back in the Hobbytown days. Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
So and all of that stuff is kind of changing it up, but then you start getting older and you got to get a job, like everybody does, right? And he became a mechanical engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how awesome is that?
For sure.
And along with all of the passionate stuff that he was about, like, you know, RC cars and off-road and things like that, he turned the mechanical engineering portion into racing drones. Like,
right.
I don't know what the racing drone stuff is called. We'll
That's
ask
right.
him.
Yeah.
I think there's like a specific thing that they're called. But anyways, so he was racing drones, and he got so good at it that he started doing filming with it.
Mm-hmm.
And once he started doing filming with it, he caught the eye of a bunch of really, really good people like Jeremy McCrath, RJ Anderson, like tons of other people. We can ask him about his resume, and he does like gets the craziest shots. Like he'll go along like some of those 100,
I've seen some of those
50-foot jumps,
awesome.
And he can go like past them and through it, like by the car and stuff.
And the funny thing is, I'm sure we're going to get into it, and it's probably going to be awesome and eye-opening, but the way the whole thing worked for him, you know, all culminating to this perfect recipe to do this, because had he not done the drone racing league and done that crazy stuff where they do all, you know, you got to do all those gates, and it's like slaloming, right?
Exactly.
Had he not done all that, he wouldn't be as confident he is flying it around people jumping dirt bikes and cars and stuff.
Exactly.
So
it's a culmination
so cool.
of everything, right?
It is. It's just like there's this big pot, and you're just throwing the things in it, and you don't realize that that's really building Plan B. You know,
we'll talk to him a little bit more about it. But
yeah, I'm excited.
Do you think you could fly a drone like that?
No, no chance.
I would say no either.
No chance. I got him covered in the dirt, but no chance in the air. No way.
So he's like a long time ago. I don't know. It was a couple years, 2 or 3 years ago, when he first started doing this. He was, you know, like he would ask me certain questions and, you know, like help with design and graphics and stuff like that. But he sent me a video around that time of him flying one of the little tiny racing drones through the house, right?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, but he was flying, like, picture you sitting in your living room and going, like, I don't know how they go, Mach 10 in a freaking RC drone.
So fast.
But going above your head, like, through the coffee table, around the refrigerator, like, down through the dining room table, like, and he's never, ever shutting down. He's wide open
full
doing
noodle.
it.
And those things are crazy.
Dodging a little puppy.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So we'll have to talk to him about it and see how hard it is. I know that now when they do the filming stuff, he was telling me in an Instagram live that we did that he has to have somebody do the camera operations separate.
I'll bet, because it's so fast.
Yeah, well, not only is it so fast, but there's too many things to control.
Right, and maybe it's a safety thing at that point.
Probably.
So he can make sure he's got the aircraft where it needs to be, and then somebody else can do their part for the filming. That makes total sense.
We could ask Steve too, but they were talking about in Supercross what they could change to get like more interaction and stuff. I think wonder if that would be too dangerous enough.
I was just going to say, as a rider, I wonder if now at that point you're just starting to get like things coming at you, distract. I bet that would be the case, is they would say, nah, just in case there's a problem. And I guess because
if you're in a truck, it's like you're going to hit it with the truck instead of your body.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, so I think it's going to be really cool to talk to Jake, and the changing it up thing, like he clearly changed it up. You know, like he went from off-road racing to being a mechanical engineer to understanding what the value was behind this this drone stuff that he was doing, and he started manufacturing drone parts, and like he just really changed it up, and he did it because he was passionate about all these things, and he made a good decision about it. You and I have had to change it up a lot in the past, and Steve Westfall even changed it up. He went from being a mechanic to a team manager, you know. So I think the changing it up thing is going to be the theme for tonight, because we're going to really be able to get a good understanding of you know, Sara Price's situation, changing it up. She changed it up so many times, like going from we got Steve calling in, so we'll talk with him, and then we'll see how his Supercross stuff went. Steve Westfall, what's going on, bud?
How's it going, guys?
Good. You?
We're not doing as good as you.
Yeah. Have you come down from your high yet?
Still doesn't seem real, to be honest with you.
So impressive.
Yeah. I mean, at least you guys, you know, a lot of people thought that, but you know how you have the wonderful people on, you know.
The Warriors?
Social media. Yeah, the beginner riders and the novice riders that, you know, say that it only happened because, you know, Kenny went down.
Of course.
Eli was worrying about the championship.
Right. Okay.
Coop didn't ride well. You know, I mean.
Yeah, but you know that the industry guys, like, they saw it coming for, you know, at least, if not the year, at least the last 4 or 5 races.
Well, let's just pretend.
Yeah,
let's just pretend for a second that okay, everybody's whatever. You got 3 freaking bikes. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, maybe they would say that if
you got like a second or a third or first.
But
or
I
something.
mean, yeah, that's just ridiculous. I know you're not worried about it, but
so
I hear you.
For any of our audience that doesn't know what we're talking about, Steve Westfall is the team manager of the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Racing team, and they've been working super hard the last few years, but this year they've actually put in a really good effort, and we saw at the beginning of the year RJ Hampshire in the lights class. Obviously, Jalik Swoll is doing really well. Moseman even got a 4th this weekend. Like, that was pretty bitchin'. So whatever they're doing on the team, and whatever Steve's whipping all his boys into shape, like it's really working out good.
For sure.
And this weekend they were able to sweep the podium in the 450 class, which Steve, do you know if that's ever been done before? Because I don't remember a time seeing one manufacturer take all 3 spots.
I think it was maybe 04 Yamaha.
They had 3 riders on the team? Or is there a privateer?
I think it was when they had – no, I think it was when they had Ferry, Reed, and Billman.
Oh.
But I can't remember.
Well, still, dude, 15, 16
too.
years. That's gnarly.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's crazy to think for sure that, that just how it all transpired.
Yeah, it really is. Well, we want to say hello to a couple of our audience members, Alfonso and Billy Slade. Thanks for joining us, guys. Will you take us through a little bit of the day? Because there wasn't just like winning that happened. I mean, like, there was stuff that went down that was like kind of gnarly. I mean, like, you guys had a couple crashes. Obviously,
man, Zach,
Osborne went down and stabbed himself with the handlebars. Like, you had some mechanical issues, and like, for a team manager standpoint, the end result was bitching. But fuck, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, to think of how everything went down. I just, the way that the day went, it's hard to explain. Just to kind of rewind a little bit, on Saturday night, we got some news. A guy from work had passed away on a motorcycle.
That's right.
And he was, he was friends with everybody, media guy. And, I mean, he, just, an all around good dude.
Yeah. That's hard to handle.
It hit, some people different, than others, which, I mean, everybody's different on how they, take things. But it's just weird that, that happened. And then Sunday, the way Sunday went, it's just a little bit ironic, honestly. So,
Casey and I talked about all that weird stuff happening, karma and all these different things, planets aligning kind of shit,
Yeah. I just think, I think that, I think it was, good for the team. I mean, for everything, let's see, Zach had that big crash in the last practice, I think it was.
That was gnarly.
Didn't think he was, I thought he for sure lacerated a liver or something, because he hit, took the handlebar so gnarly in the gut.
Dude, it's a good thing he's in good shape, because like a normal dude like us that doesn't train like him, like, we would have got really hurt.
Everybody talks about how gritty that guy is. It's like, it just keeps happening. Like, this guy just overcomes, and he's like a little boxer, you know what I mean? Or like
yeah,
just,
yeah, exactly.
WW, whatever they call it now, fighter.
The MMA kind of stuff.
There you go,
no, I mean, he's gnarly.
No kidding.
So all that stuff happened, and so what were the guys thinking before the main events then? Like Jalik, I think he had a pretty good head on his shoulders before the main, and then Moseman, he's always ready to rip. But what were the 450 guys thinking before the main event started?
They just, they just were, trying to do the best that they could, on the last round, just to hopefully, get it, just get a good result. I mean, Zach's been solid since we've been there. Jason's been solid since we've been there. Dean's been solid since we've been there. I mean, and then to have all 3 of them go 1, 2, 3 around the first turn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
Pretty awesome.
When I saw that, I was like, holy crap, what's going on? You know, like,
I think all of us kind of felt the
was
same way, because we were thinking, like, what did Steve do? Have some sort of pep talk, and the coach was getting everybody all amped up because they came out of that gate swinging.
Mm-hmm. So Steve.
Nah, I mean, just trying to keep it simple, you know, simple, fun, light, you know, just try to have fun. I mean, honestly, we were watching South Park before every race up in the lounge.
So we know you like to keep it light, and so as the crew chief of that team, do you say, all right, we got a good shot at this, let's give Zach a little extra edge, let's take the bolts out of Jason's seat? I'm kidding.
No, that honestly, like, I've seen, you know, everybody says that the bolt was there. It was
I'm sure it was,
you know, part that it was a brand new seat. We've seen it happen one other time, and of course during practice, and then of course it happens that,
right,
you know, last race, Jason's leading, and it happened. And it's like, it's, you know, I mean.
Oh, is it just those little aluminum hangers that sit on the bottom of the seat in the plastic?
No, it's an actual, there's a hook that hooks underneath our subframe.
Oh, gotcha.
The way it hooks under there, and it just, from having to have to seat mount so much stuff on that track.
Yeah, for sure. And Jason's an animal. That guy rides hard.
Yeah, and it just, you know, just can only take 3 practices, a heat race, and halfway through a main.
Right.
When they're jumping that much. I mean, it's a bad deal. I mean, the bolt was there, everything was intact, because I have to send reports to Austria.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I just, you know, yeah. So I mean, everything is always handled very quick with them for the most part.
Oh,
honestly.
I'm sure. Yeah, and it was definitely not to make. I was making light of, you know, not to spotlight. You made a part, but like in my mind, I was seeing probably some funny jokes between the two guys. There's got to be, because I mean, Jason was still getting it done on the frame rails. Like we were talking about that before the show.
Yeah.
He was like that didn't bother him.
His butt's sore today.
I can only imagine, dude. So can you imagine the team, all the fucking jokes afterwards too?
Man.
Like,
oh yeah, you beat me, but
because his mechanic takes it to heart, and he was pretty upset about it.
I'll bet.
You know, and
I'll bet
it's like, you know, and none of my guys, you know, I mean, if they're all hard workers and they're all dedicated to their guy, which is fantastic.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
But they, you know, it's just a freak thing. I mean, it's,
right.
You know.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. You never know when something like that's going to happen. I remember thinking, like, during the race, I was like, shit, well, his seat flew off. But then, like, 2 seconds later, when I was like, holy shit, they all crossed the finish line, like, swept the podium, I was like, oh, forget about all this other crap.
Yeah, totally,
like,
exactly.
This is bitchy.
Yeah.
Yep. I just know Steve's personality and how they keep it light. So I was laughing for you, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I knew that somebody was taking that to heart, like, oh man. But then again, the high part was, here we are, and we're standing 3 bikes on the podium.
Did anybody catch like a selfie video, or like get you like right when all those dudes crossed the finish line, get a video of you and how amped you probably were?
No, I don't think so. I literally was just sat in the stands for probably 10 minutes just staring at the finish line, because I'm like, this just happened. Like,
yeah,
so cool.
I didn't even move. Like, I mean, I'm like, this just did not happen. There's no way.
Well, it wasn't
Absolutely.
It wasn't that long ago, Steve, that we were talking, you know, you were on your way, and you know, you made a couple of comments about, oh yeah, wrenching for 800 races in a row or whatever. You know what I mean? That seems like that wasn't that long ago. And, you know, you were preparing for the worst, and we talked a couple times about all the stuff to be prepared. And then, you know, I feel like we kind of went through the journey with you. So when that happened, dude, nobody's more pumped. I'm telling you, it's so cool to be able to share a teeny little bit of that with you.
Dude, for real.
No, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I mean, to be honest, like, you know, they sit there and they talk about, and this is just me, and everybody has their differences, but the whole COVID thing we had 1,000 people there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Temperature checking us. We had to wear the mask. Yes, we didn't have them on the podium because we actually wanted a true picture. But nobody tested positive there for COVID.
Right.
1,000 people.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
that's just because everybody was paying attention to what they were doing, keeping clean and minding their manners.
Yeah, I mean, we stayed in our group, and we would go out. We'd go out to dinner. We'd come back or whatever. But think of all the other people that we passed and interacted with that whole time.
Right.
And nobody, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
It's bitching,
it's still, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's
we are
crazy
ready.
to think.
We are ready for it to not be talked about anymore.
Yeah.
That's for sure, right?
We don't
even want to hear that name anymore.
Hey, so what's up with the outdoors then? You guys got to get ready, and when does it start?
They've announced the first two, which is July 18th.
Oh shit! So it's right around the corner. You guys got to start hustling, huh?
Yeah, the first two are Ironman and Florida, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to. I'd have to look through my phone, but the first two have been announced. They don't know what's going to happen thereafter yet. So, hopefully, we have a better understanding here beginning in July, I would say, of what's going on.
Yeah, that'll be cool though, man. We got to get on with get another person on the show right now, but dude, we are so stoked for you, and we can't wait to see what happens to the outdoors, man. And plus, I was just thinking about it, like right now, finally Steve gets to chill with his family for a little while.
I know, totally. Think about how amped they're going to go into this, especially
the outdoors,
especially Zach, because he's
in pretty good shape, too.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, all of them, but you know what I mean?
Dude, I was thinking about it, though. Like, Dean Wilson, when he was on the Pro Circuit Cowie team, like, him at, where was it, Unadilla or whatever, was, like, one of the baddest dudes I've ever seen ride a motorcycle, dude. So I cannot wait to see all these guys rip it up outdoors.
Definitely. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And the good news is everybody always remembers your last race.
Yep.
So we got this one for a month at least.
That's good.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, thanks for calling and briefing us on everything that was going on. I really appreciate you guys
no problem.
being friends of the show, like Casey says.
For sure. Say hi to the family for us.
Yep. I will. Thanks, guys, for having me. Appreciate it.
Buddy.
We'll see you later, dude. Good luck.
Okay. See ya. Thanks. See ya. Bye.
Dude, I would still be like, you could hear the kids in the background and stuff, so it's cool that he gets to spend time with his family. Dude, I still can't believe that they did it. It's so sick.
So cool.
All right, we're going to go to a quick commercial break because we got to get Sara Price on the line really quickly here. She's Chip Ganassi, so we got to be like right on top of things now.
That's right.
We'll be right back. Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period. Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I'm trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux It decontaminates and cleans, like let's say a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there, or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up
patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah. Also, as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel. And then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
It's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Episode 44 is in high gear now. Well, I don't know if the new e-car has gears, does it? So welcome, Sara Price.
No. Hi, guys. How are you?
We are doing awesome, but we just told Steve Westfall of Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Racing we weren't doing as good as him, and we're not doing as good as you because you got that awesome Exrtreme.E Chip Ganassi ride going, huh?
Yeah, it's honestly something truly incredible. I'm so stoked to be a part of the team and to be a part of a new series that's going to really take motorsports by a storm, I think, because it's a whole new thing to add into off-road racing, and then not only just that, but motorsports, because we're racing electric SUVs. Like, I haven't even ever seen an electric off-road capable SUV, but these are like trophy trucks that are electric.
Dude, yeah.
Wow.
So we could talk about the research and development, but let's keep it on a personal level for now. So, like, I think this is amazing, obviously. Like, all of us in our little short course dirt bike world, right? Like, we dream of having, like, a Chip Ganassi sponsorship. Like, so how did the thing come about for you?
I just got a phone call one day, and they told me about the series, what's going on. There was some other opportunities on the table as well. So when Chip Ganassi called me, I was kind of like, wow, that doesn't get better than that team. So I quickly said yes, and we just worked out the details and made the deal happen. And then we moved forward with it and became, now I didn't even know I was the first driver of the series at the time until we like did our announcement. And then I realized I was the first driver of the series and for the team. So they're still working on getting the male driver right now.
So was it really as easy as, because it sounds like she was like, hey, what do you want to eat? Mexican? Sure. Yeah. And then what do we want? I don't know. We'll figure it out later. It sounds like it really was that easy as far as you're like, I'm in. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, I think, like, it's kind of crazy. Like, you think of it right now and it sounds that easy, but it's like, I think about all the years and hard work I put into it, and all that has equaled out to what this is, like, it's crazy just to look back and like see where I was and now where I'm at. And it's just like, ask me even last year being in a trophy truck, or even this year getting this ride, like if I would have ever assumed I'd be in this position. And no, I totally wouldn't have, but I just, put my head down, worked as hard as I possibly can, and done the best I can to make it happen.
Yeah, we both know sitting here, like Casey's question was more like the decision just like to say yes or no to Chip Ganassi. Like, of course you're going to say yes, but we both know sitting on this side of the table that the work that you've put in, like almost everybody looks up to that work ethic. I mean, like you just work your ass off to be able to reach these goals. I can assume that like, well, I guess it's a question. Like you probably were thinking about racing trophy trucks again, and then an offer like this comes in and you're like, wow, okay, now I got to really make a decision here.
Yeah, definitely. It was like I was trying to figure out my 2021 year, and, I didn't have this on my radar at all. And so this kind of just came and got thrown into the mix, and then it went straight to the priority list, So this is number one on my priorities, I guess you would say, for racing in next year. And we're still going to do some other racing as well. So it's not all gone. It's 5 races for the first year. They're talking about 10 the next year. So it's going to be pretty busy, but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be something different.
Did they talk to you about, we can talk more about the cars too, but like obviously it's a development series. So are they going to use a lot of the knowledge that you've gained over the years, being in obviously motocross and trophy trucks and side-by-sides, to be able to help build and get these cars to a better level, or do they have them pretty much ready to go?
No, so this is a completely spec series. They're building the cars in France. I haven't seen one yet, so I don't know much about actually where they're getting built, who's building them, the R&D and all that going into them. So we're not allowed to change anything from my understanding, like nothing from the seat to the steering wheel. Like it has to be the same.
Dude, I kind of like that though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a complete spec. I love spec racing. Like that's my favorite because it comes down to the driver. Like there's no excuses when it comes down to it.
It's more like motocross, right? Like you get the rider, who's ever the better rider.
Right.
Like, yeah, dude, that's so cool.
Obviously, there's some tuning.
Yeah.
But no major, right? Or no.
Yeah.
Start it up and go. Well, actually, turn it on.
It sounds like. Yeah. Sounds like we're going to be doing some tuning for sure and setting up the car. So
figured as much.
Yeah, that'll be something that I think is going to be a key for success. But I don't really know how far they're going to let us touch the vehicles and tune them. And then it sounds like we're not going to get too much seat time. So, I'm interested to see how that works.
I kind of feel like, well, everybody likes, like, a dirt bike rider always thinks, like, I'll have a practice bike and a race bike, and I can always, like, get as much, like, seat time as possible. Mm-hmm. But I feel like somebody of her experience, like, will thrive on, like, not having to go. Like, she will always be ready when it comes to, like, sitting in the car, you know?
And respecting the machine, I would imagine. Yeah, I mean, all this, think of all that. I was just, this is going through my head here. You're stepping into basically uncharted territory, and you're, like, the tip of the spear. That has to be exciting.
It's crazy. I'm like still shocked,
I'll bet.
To be honest. And
nervous? At all?
I think about racing.
Yep.
It's electric. I'm just kidding.
But
yeah, because the car is electric.
Sorry.
That's awesome.
You know what I was thinking about though? We were talking about it, and it's like we're racing these cars that don't make a lot of noise, so you just hear a whining when you're going around, just like a like a straight whine, and then all of a sudden like. I'm going to be worried about all these noises I'm not used to hearing because like they happen, but I never get to hear them. And so like rocks hitting the like underside or like whatever the case is, I'm going to be like, oh man, I broke it. What happened?
Can you put a card in the spokes or something?
Yeah.
Put a card in the spokes.
Yeah. It'll be crazy.
That's totally good point because you're used to that.
Well, dude, that's one of her best senses is her hearing, though, and like listening to a motor and stuff.
So now, like she said, you're going to hear all this stuff. You're going to hear it clunk in the suspension or whatever. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Go log like 1,000,000 laps at K1 with like some sort of like headphones or like earphones in that's like just like all kinds of like racket behind you.
Yeah.
I know. I was like thinking that I was like, maybe I should go like drive my Razor, like the truck or something with like noise canceling earphones in to where I can't hear nothing and I just have to feel it, like to do some sort of training.
It's a good idea.
I don't know how that works though, because like Tomac wears earplugs when he rides his motorcycle, right? I tried it.
He does?
Yeah, and Baggett does too, I think. But I don't know who does. But anyways, I know Tomac does for sure. And so I tried it because like my senses have to be different in the side-by-side racing when we're doing short course, right? And so like I tried it one time to wear earplugs as my my communication system, and I couldn't hear the car good enough, and I was like a second a lap slower. Like I was horrible.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, yeah, so I took them out, and I was like, holy shit, my body operates off the hearing.
Right.
And I think it's because we grew up all doing motocross. But I was thinking, like, if I had to do this position like yours with electric stuff, I would do exactly like what you're talking about and go, like, try to figure out how to, like, have that sense kick in a different way.
Yeah, be the first one to be doing it. Great idea. She's already thinking of how she's going to.
Dude, for real.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So
we got it. We only have 5 races.
Yeah, you need all the help everybody can get.
So what's the plan then? Like, what's the next step? Like, obviously you've signed the deal. You're a Chip Ganassi driver. Congratulations, by the way. That's like insane cool. But like, what's the actual like? When do you get to like get in this bad boy? Like, when do you go get to race and stuff?
We're talking about it right now. So because of the whole coronavirus thing, it's like the travel ban to go to France to get a look at the car and get to drive it possibly. I was supposed to this month or next month in July, but it got moved back even more now. So in a few months, I'm going to be going to France to like check it out, get to drive it and do all that. But I believe then the teams start to get the cars as well.
Are there any like leaked pictures or anything of what these things like? I'd love to see one.
I think she posted something on her social media where they actually show the car.
Okay, I need to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ken Block and the Hoonigans actually did a full video on it. So he did a Dakar stage this last year. Yeah, in the car.
Oh, we got to go check that out then.
Definitely.
So, yeah, and we'll put something up. I don't know. We can share it on our social media and tag you or something with it. But that's that'd be super cool to see. I've seen something that dude, it's got big old tires, like 40-inch tires or something on it, like, and it's got like one of the little rally bodies and stuff. So it's super cool.
Sounds cool.
Do they have all of the stuff on the cars too, like the tires inside the doors and all that stuff? So you have all the extra stuff if you're gonna do a long rally, or it's not that level yet?
No, so. This isn't going to be long distance racing. We're going to be racing laps that are about 9 miles. So each lap, each driver gets to do 1 lap, and it's 9 miles each. So I don't know if like we have to swap positions like on time, because that's going to be a whole nother strategic play, because we're going to be able to, you need to do that fast, or else like you getting your seatbelt like stuck is going to ruin your race. So that would be interesting. Another thing that's super cool is like we're going to all these crazy places around the world that are impacted by like crazy environmental issues.
Right.
And so like we have scientists that go with us, and we're all staying on one boat. So like our boat is basically our pits in our paddock. And so we all stay there. That's where we work on the cars and everything. So like the whole time we're there, we're all stuck together on a boat.
Dang. So you're like hitting the waves like while you're working with the wrenches and stuff?
There's lots of dynamics going into this experience.
No, but how cool is that? Like that's a whole new, like what she said, it's like on the forefront of like all new racing.
So do you did you said 9 miles, that'll be a maximum, or that'll be an average of how those are laid out? Because in my head I'm picturing, when you said that, all of a sudden I was like, wow, this is like something that could be really televised.
Yeah, big time.
Like the whole thing. I'm sure that's part of the point. To bring this.
Oh yeah, Nat Geo is doing it. So they're our main television outlet. I'm pretty sure is National Geographic doing all that, and then there's all kinds of other TV outlets that have came on board. So it's going to be big. It's going to be.
Dude, Sarah, this is going to be huge, not only for you but for like racing in general.
No
this
doubt.
Is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, like for off-road especially, like this is like
BBC.
we're bringing F1 drivers to the dirt. Like
Awesome.
That's going to be insane.
And how cool is it
that
that your name's thrown in that mix now? How awesome is that?
It's crazy.
I'm sure it's like I can't, wake me up or whatever. I'm sure that's
pinch me.
But all that hard work, I mean, you have to go back and think about how much, like he said, how much hard work that you've put into this, and it's all finally coming together. Again, it's got to be like a dream.
I don't even know if she's like got it like pinched herself yet, because she's been so freaking busy. Like one of these days she's gonna wake up and be like, yes.
Totally.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, there's times when like I get to like just kind of absorb everything, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'll share a little something. I was on my way to a stunt job in Detroit this last week, and I was on the plane, and this had nothing to do with the electric racing, and that's obviously the highlight of my life right now, but I was like sitting there watching Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh my God, I watched that yesterday.
Such an awesome show.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends are the stunt drivers in it, so it's really cool to watch. Cool. But I'm sitting there, and then like the person next to me, like right in front of me on the plane, is watching Jumanji, and like I haven't watched Jumanji, and I'm in it. It's kind of weird. I don't know why. I just like I hesitate on things I'm in to watch, and I was like sitting there, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my part coming up. And I'm like looking over, and I'm watching Ford versus.
So what did you do? Because now we're all gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
In the Jumanji.
I was Ruby Roundhouse's stunt double, driving the Polaris Razor in the ostrich scene.
Nice.
So, like, all the ostriches are attacking the Razor.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So you have to check it out.
Definitely. Yeah.
Can you imagine seeing yourself on the big screen like that on a plane?
No, that's pretty cool. Yeah, because you were witnessing someone else watching you. That's just got to be weird.
Yeah, it was super weird. I was, like, sitting behind him just kind of quiet, just like, oh, my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that is super neat. Like to have that feeling of good. And it's not like you can like tap the person on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, like I was driving that thing," but behind the scenes, like, and that just goes back to like what we were talking about changing it up and working like hard. Like she's like doing that all the time. And all right, so what's going on with like all the personal stuff? Like, are you still having to like do all your business and all your work and all your employees from the road now?
So I built my paint business to basically be mobile. So I run everything from my phone. I have this app called Mobile Tech RX, and I can do everything from it. And it just links to my QuickBooks, and then I'm dialed.
That's so sick.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then, the stunt work's starting to pick back up, so I'm traveling for that when I can. So it's a busy time. I just sold my house yesterday.
I think that app is really actually called Let's Go Race.
Yeah, the app is like Let's Go Race, Sarah.
Go Race. That's the real Let's Go Race. But first, a selfie. No, I gotta do business. That's cool.
That is
it's like I look forward to racing because that's like my downtime in a way. It's not my downtime, but it's like cool. Like all this other stuff just doesn't matter then at that moment. It's like we're 100% focused on racing, and it's like it's kind of nice because when I'm not racing, it's like I have so many irons in the fire all the time. So it's nice when I get to just drive or race.
Man, I have so many like questions about the car and like how fun this is gonna be, and like she can't even answer them because it's so new. Like
I gotta educate myself on it. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, it really does. Like I can't wait to see it because like I don't know if either of you are familiar, but like there's it's called Formula E. Mm-hmm. It's a spec electric form of Formula racing, and I follow it religiously.
That's who owns this.
The same people, and they just call it Exrtreme.E.
Yeah.
So I follow that religiously because I love that series because of the spec racing and how tight it is. And I don't know if you remember, but you and I had a conversation earlier in the shows, maybe around episode 20 or something, 6 months ago or something, about the Formula E series. They can pull out to the side of the course and they can hit a turbo like Mario Kart.
That's right. Yeah, I love that. Mario Kart.
It is. It's like a turbo arrow like Mario Kart.
Are you going to need that to get over a tabletop or something?
We get that. We get a boost.
Oh, you do?
We totally
like once a lap or something?
So the car we're driving, it's like equivalent to 550 horsepower.
Nice.
And
how much does it weigh?
Yeah, it's fast. And then on top of that, like I don't know how it all works, but I think there's going to be like a joker line maybe, or like where you can go and you take a line one time in a race and you get a boost. Then also there's going to be a reward for the longest jump. They're going to put jumps on the course.
Don't miss the joker lane like Dungy though.
Yeah. So we got some comments coming in here. So it sounds like I hope I don't butcher the name. Jason
Stillbauer.
Yeah.
Bauer.
He sounds like he knows what's going on here. He's got some good stuff. He said biggest jump gets a boost.
He also said the steering wheel has a paddle handbrake.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He mentioned BBC too.
That's my media guy. He's awesome. Okay, he kills it.
Got it. That now it makes sense why he knew what the heck was going on.
So biggest jump gets a boost. That's gonna be sweet.
That is cool.
You know, she's already like moto girl. She's gonna be sending it so hard. She's gonna be like, all right, I get that boost this one.
I'm a stunt woman. Beat it.
Oh man. I'm going to be like compressing the suspension, like unload to preload off, do whatever I can to get that award every time.
Do you have intercoms when you're talking or I mean when you're racing or no connection? Is it really just in their drive? Not sure.
Yeah.
Because what I was thinking is
I don't know yet.
You can order up some stamps.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
You can order up some stamps.
Huh?
So you can send it. Yeah. Okay, sorry, that's two bad ones.
Dude, you got all the jokes today.
My bad.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so exciting. I cannot wait. Like, it's going to be like really, really fun. Like, no matter what happens, even if like, let's just say that like we got to just go check it out, like just to see her out there on the course is going to be bitching, man.
Super cool.
So how many drivers are they going to have in this? And how many drivers are they going to have?
So each team, so far there's 8 teams, and each team has 2 drivers, a male and a female. So every team will have a male and a female driver.
That's going to be pretty cool. So is that what they did different than the Formula E series? Is they're doing men and women then?
Yeah. So it's mandatory. So that's what's really awesome about it is it's super equal. And then they're also giving, like females a chance that never get the chance to do something that's such a high statue,
Did they,
but yeah.
Did they mention like any of that came from, like, did they research you doing the SST trucks?
I have no idea where that came from. I'm not sure, but yeah, it ended up being a rule from the series. Like not too long ago, I think they had other plans and then it kept swapping and then it ended up being that was what's going to be. So that was the thing with like Chip Ganassi is they wanted to like hire the female driver first and then build the team from there, which is pretty interesting and really awesome to hear. But yeah, I'm excited to see who my teammate is.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of cool too, huh? I wonder if do they let you chime in to be able to see who you can pick?
Yeah, so they had a list of people, and then I had a list of 10 people.
And you put Ricky all the way at the top?
And then they had 5 people that were on my list as well. And so they were like...
That's cool.
Yeah, so I don't know who they're going with. I know they're talking to a lot of them, so...
Dude, how sweet is that? All right, well, we know that you've been, like, media girl, like, doing all kinds of interviews and stuff, so we won't keep too much of your time. What do you got for dinner tonight?
You know what? I just got home from like being gone for a week, and I just got home from the river today. So
Taco Bell?
I don't have nothing in my house.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to go figure it out.
So I'm gonna have to come up with something.
Who knows? All these different people have been opening up with all their restaurants and stuff lately. Right. So I'm gonna be in Southern California in about a month. So I'll hit you up and see if we could go on a bicycle ride or something.
For sure. Southern California sucks though because you have to wear a mask everywhere now.
We got mandated. We have to wear a mask too, or else we get a fine.
Really?
Yeah, we get a ticket, like a legit ticket, if we don't wear a mask.
Man, it's like weird because like I go into places where there's no one, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I forgot it in my truck. Do you want me to go get it?
I know. I forgot. Like, it's kind of helping me though too, because like if you get lazy and you like walk in without the mask, you got to walk back out, so you're getting way more steps on your phone.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
true.
I need to see your ID.
Yeah. Oh shit! Yeah, like I gotta.
Okay.
Wonder if you like if it would pass if you put your T-shirt over your nose.
I almost did that this morning because I did the same thing.
I've been doing that. I've totally done that, and like they've let me get away with it maybe 2 times, but then some other times when I haven't had my mask, I've been like, Oh man, I just got kicked out.
Yep.
This sucks.
You're getting 86 because you don't have a mask on. Oh, that's actually a pretty good thing. We just had one of our audience members, Brian Hawkins, comment in. He said, so Sarah's going to have like her own race. They'll call it the Sarah Jump or something, like Larocco's Leap at Redbud. But since you're going to send it so hard, you can have each one be a race of Sarah's Leap.
Love it.
Yeah. People are going to be like knowing that jump for me.
Totally.
Exactly.
I hope for the best reason.
I wonder how these things are going to handle, man. I cannot wait till you get in the car for the first time.
Dude, me too. I'm excited. But from what like Ken said and all that in the videos, it sounds like they're really impressive. Like everyone has great things to say about them. It's pretty cool.
Okay, we got a comment that came in. This is like too much to talk about, but Ramon is saying that how much similarities that the electric racing is going to have to RC cars. We talked about it last show, how much similarities are from RC car racing, and you just transfer all those mechanical skills over to like this. It's going to be like there's going to be a lot of people that are getting new jobs when all these electric racing series start that have like different engineering background with like capacitors, and just all kinds of different stuff.
Electronics and mechanical.
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty cool.
It will be pretty cool. Hey, give Casey a call when you need another mechanic, all right? Chip Ganassi.
Right?
I'm in. I can tune that speed control.
To learn about batteries and like currents and all that stuff, it's so foreign to me. So like I have a lot of learning to do, but I'm intrigued to learn more about that stuff because it sounds like, you know, obviously that's the future. And like all these OEs are starting to go like more towards electric. And, you know, I think it's kind of inevitable, which is, you know, it's a new world.
Is there different safety equipment that you have to use on your person or on your body that for electric stuff or no?
No, but we are all FIA, which I didn't know. Like a lot of my stuff isn't FIA because Offroad desert racing doesn't acquire it.
Right.
So I pretty much had to get all new gear from Sparco because we're in Offroad. You know, it's not a big deal, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, I actually know about that stuff because one of our supporters is Jeff Furrier over at a company called Ultra Performance or UPR Racing, and he was telling me about all these things before I actually got in. So almost all of the stuff that I wear was FIA certified. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I was trying on even helmets and stuff, and you know, I put on one of the helmets and I was like, man, it's so like narrow here.
Yeah.
And we didn't know, but it's FIA, and that's because it protects your face more. It covers more of it.
So I don't know if you can see, but this is a typical off-road helmet. It's got a really big visual area. And then I don't know if you can see with the camera that you have, but there's a like I call it my factory helmet that's sitting behind me here. And that area is like, it's like so small. I know what you're talking about.
How much thicker the chin bar is.
Yeah.
You see it.
It's the whole thing is like really, really huge. And like don't tell anybody this, but like it's really good to understand that because I wish I had that helmet on when I got hit because I had this helmet on, and this helmet is so much less safe than that FIA one. So like it would have been a little bit different damage to my head if I had that one on. So I'm so glad that you're learning about all that stuff too.
Yeah, it's been a big learning process. Just like, you know, that's like the most elite racing there is out there. You know, we're talking about Formula One drivers and like how they're taking off like a hair on the race suit to save however much money in seconds. And it's like, that's crazy.
Have you heard that,
Casey? I never thought of that.
So they talk about weight in Formula One cars by like, I don't know, you know, like grams. Millimeters compared to inches, like, yeah, probably grams, right? Mm-hmm. And they talk about it in a way that Sarah was talking about. Like, if you save a gram, you save like $200,000 or something.
Or, got it. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it's
crazy. But
at that level,
it's like, awesome to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of us dumbass off-roaders are like, no, just pin it.
Just give me the heavy one.
I've been getting weird. We're like cowboys and cowgirls in the desert world.
I'll bet.
Have you really?
That's cool.
Yeah. They're like, we don't really know like what you guys do or like anything, you know, like or how it works like for you guys. And it's like, well, we thrive on passion. We thrive on going fast, and we thrive on the unexpected.
That's pretty cool, man.
I think that just summed her up, too.
I know, right?
I think it really did. So awesome.
Now we know why Sarah got the call.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting phone call. You can only imagine what I felt like when I, you know, heard that kind of name.
All right, so we only got one last question for you, and that's what did Ricky think when you got the call?
Ricky is funny. He's not very enthusiastic about those things. Like, I think they excite him deep down, but like not at first, you know? He's kind of like, all right, well, time to go to work kind of thing,
I was
you know?
going to say the same thing.
I'm just like, hey, how about like celebrate with me for a second?
He's like, there's only this many weeks left, right?
Yeah. Like, we got to get working here, Sarah. Come on, we're slacking.
Yeah, he's like, you only have half a year. We got to go to work.
That's cool, though. Well,
it's strict regimen.
It's pretty neat, though, that you have a cheerleader on your squad that already has rally experience, and so there's going to be a bunch of stuff that can transfer over and help you and stuff like that. So we are so glad. I mean, we know your passion with racing, and we know how pumped you are. Like, to even just ride your dirt bike, plain and simple. Like, to have the opportunity to be with Chip Ganassi in the Extreme.E series is going to be phenomenal. Like, you have two of the biggest cheerleaders right here in this room.
Thanks, guys. No, I'm so stoked. I'm stoked that, you know, I get to bring a little part of off-road into this realm of racing. And then, you know, they get to highlight our sport, what we love so much. Because, you know, I feel like we're still kind of in like a dark little hole sometimes. Like, people are like, wait, what? What's a trophy truck? And it's like,
yep.
You don't know what a trophy truck is? What's wrong with you?
They're like, dirt. Why would you play in dirt?
That's good that she's thinking about the crossover.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they're doing that. They're like, you like to do this for fun? You like to go hang out in the dirt for fun?
Yeah.
Hey, that's all of us, right?
That's perfect.
They're like, yeah, that's what we like to do for fun.
Yeah. Brian Hawkins says, congrats on everything, Sarah.
Yeah, he's pumped for you, too. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. Don't forget that tomorrow's Taco Tuesday, so now that you're home, go get some taco stuff.
Right? Of course. Can always use some tacos.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Sarah. We really appreciate it. And good luck on everything. I'm sure we'll try to talk to you soon, even though we have to go through all of this, like, hoops and hurdles to get with Ganassi to be able to talk with you now.
I know. Anything that has to do with Extreme.E now, I have to go through the team. And, like, there's all these you know, I get it. They're a high-profile team, and they want to make sure everything's kind of vetted before it goes out there in the public and make sure I know what to say.
Dude, honestly, it was cool talking to them, though. They were all so nice. Like, it was rad.
Well,
dude, it's actually awesome. Like, I can just send everyone to them, and then I get, like, a schedule.
Perfect. And we
like,
made it
cool.
through the filter.
Like, I usually have to do this myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're super nice. Like, they're all so nice over there. It's cool to, like,
awesome.
So, all right. Well, have an awesome night, and enjoy.
Right.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. Tell everybody that we said hello.
All right, will do. Bye, guys.
All right, see you, Sarah. Have a good one. Man, like,
so pumped.
Yeah, first of all, she is pumped, and like her passion just goes like beyond. And so remember how we were talking about this show is going to be all about changing it up? She doesn't even know half the things that she's changing into.
That's why I think it's so. You could go one of two ways. She could go, how exciting is this that I get to be the tip of the spear, like I was saying.
Yep.
And be pumped on it and be someone who's like literally a pioneer in this. Or the other side could be, man, I hope I can do it. And I mean, deep down, I'm sure there's I hope I can do it. But we've already established that she can do it.
There's some of the stuff that you would be scared, though, like going into a total unknown, right? But it goes back to what we like, changing it up and being the tip of the spear. Like if you don't have the, well, this is kind of a weird oxymoron, but if you don't have the cojones to do it, you're not going to be able to like go in and actually do it, right? But she's going in, guns blazing, like awesome. Full Western, like getting it done. That's going to be so.
Cowboys and cowgirls, like they
just
said.
like she said. So it's going to be so cool to see her like accomplish these things, like.
She's running a business.
At the same time.
And I don't even want to say on the side.
Yeah.
Like, she's actually full-time running.
She probably got 10 text messages about the end of the day, like employees saying
so. Oh, guaranteed. How cool is that?
Well, that's cool. Thank you very much, Sarah, for sharing your story with us and like helping us. Yeah, hats totally off to you to be able to accomplish all these things. Like, I cannot wait till this thing starts to be able to see it.
Sounds super cool.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, I was already pumped on just watching Supercross twice a week. Now I got another thing to watch. So
cool. It's
going to be cool. So, all right. Well, we got our featured guest, Jake Yubeta, coming on in just a few minutes. Let's go to a commercial break, and we'll come back with Jake. We'll see you guys in just a second. Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile. including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period. Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I'm trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans like, let's say, a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up.
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah, also as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel, and then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
It's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock
stuff with Sara
systems
sounds awesome.
and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also
what's your
tune
partner's name?
suspension
Tommy,
for
right?
race teams and professional
Sorry,
drivers.
What's your partner's name again? Tommy?
Tommy, yeah.
So you guys have he has to operate the camera like what?
No, not really. I mean, when I use like the DJI drones, the larger cinema stuff,
We currently
where we
tune
carry
for over
bigger
87
cameras,
race teams
we have
in
dual
Best in
operator
Desert and
stuff,
Score.
but anything that's
Our
racing
clients
drone
and
is
race
always...
teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target, and we are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Yeah, we are back, and we have our featured guest, Jake Yubeta, on the line. He has done some pretty amazing stuff in his life. He started out in a small town right here in Tucson, Arizona, where we all grew up. And, man, he's been into the dirt life for so long. He's been doing off-road racing. He did quad racing. And, man, he even did RC car racing with you, Case. And now he has switched it up a little bit. He got his education to be a mechanical engineer. He got into doing some drone stuff. He did some drone racing league stuff. I don't know. We'll ask him about what it actually is. But welcome, Jake Yubeta, to the line, man, to the Dirt Life Show. We appreciate you coming on, bud.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's awesome to be here. I'm glad to catch up with you both.
Yeah, we've been friends for a while. Actually, all of us have. So it's neat to be able to catch up, even though you're living in Southern California now.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's nice to be out here in the heart of everything, but I still get homesick for Tucson all the time.
Yeah, I bet. How's your family doing, bud?
They're doing good, man. They're doing good. My dad's going in for knee surgery. You know, he's getting his mechanical parts replaced. You know, otherwise everything's great.
Right.
He's going in tomorrow, actually. So fingers crossed all around.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, good luck to Pops to be able to go in there and get it all taken care of quickly. That's cool that you still have a close-knit relationship with your family. We talk about it all the time, how much that stuff and the support mechanisms, how long or how far that goes, like, you know, for everybody. It's just neat to be able to see that.
Seriously, dude, it's been the driving force behind everything I've been able to accomplish is, you know, their support and, you know, everything they taught me. Especially when we were racing, you know, growing up with my dad, we used to go to all the quad races, and then it turned into short course, and it's been a really awesome way to spend a lot of time with my dad, and, you know, he's one of my best friends, and I'm really grateful for dirt and what off-road racing, you know, the part that it played in that.
Do you think that growing up in a small town and going to like a small school and all the childhood stuff that you went through with your family established or kind of put a baseline for all that stuff, having a close relationship with everybody?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's you gotta get to know your family when there's only a couple younger people in a 50-mile radius.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, my best friend is the other one. So.
Exactly.
That's funny.
That is pretty cool, though. And we talk about it all the time, though. Growing up in such a small town, like what we did was like, It really puts a big focus on what's important in life really, really quickly for the young kids, you know?
Well, and you don't notice or you don't realize it until you get out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's funny how you almost hate being in a small town when you're younger, and then now I'm able to see a lot of the benefits that came with it, and it's cool.
Absolutely. And now you just can't wait to come home and get EGs.
Seriously, dude, EGs, man.
So for the people that don't know, like we've talked about it a few times on the show, but if it's your first time tuning in, there's everybody has their own small town, right? Like we talked about it with, I think, Craig Scanlon being in Philadelphia or wherever he was, or in Pennsylvania. Everybody kind of has their own small town like shop that they always go to get sandwiches, and a lot of us here in Arizona, Jake might not be EG's, but EG's is one of Casey's favorite places to get sandwiches.
Oh, dude. You gotta love EG's.
Yeah, they have the slushies, they got the ranch fries, they got all that good stuff, man.
They got all the
that stuff's universal. I remember when I was racing short course in Arizona for the first time. Every time I would go to SDHQ, and that's where my truck would live, and they would do a lot of the prep for me. Every time I would go up, I'd bring like a gallon of EGs and a bunch of little cups, and everybody would, you know, check out.
So if you're listening, EGs, we could use some help.
Yeah, help sponsor us. I even got one up on that, Jake, is that so my dad, he knew that my sister loved EGs so much that my sister lives in Hollywood now, or in Los Angeles. He sent over like a big one of those big
thing or whatever.
No, those big whatever they are, like 10-gallon, 5-gallon.
The party pack
from EG's up there to Southern California and to the salon that she was working at, and she got to share it with all the salon
he was
employees.
The hero.
Yeah,
that's so cool. So that's awesome.
I don't even know how you get that slushy across the state.
Dry ice, I guess.
Yeah, with dry ice. Yeah.
Good job, Dad.
I was wondering, probably.
How did you do it? You just pinned it up to Phoenix?
Oh, yeah. I was like an hour and a half. I just kept scooping off the melted stuff for myself on the way.
Perfect.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. That I don't know if you were watching, but how Sara Price is joining the Extreme.E series. I think that's insane,
dude. It's so cool. I can't wait to. I mean, as soon as I get off, I'm going to pull up some pictures of it. I'm really interested in what the vehicles look like. And
this guy too.
I'm super stoked for her.
So we were gonna do the same thing. Have you ever been like on our way up to Phoenix from Tucson? There's like that little there's that like where they have all the toter homes and trailers on the right before you get into Chandler.
I know what you're talking about.
They have that little rally place that builds those rally cars.
Can't remember what that was called.
Have you ever seen one of those rally cars that they built? It looks like that.
Does it?
Yeah. It looks really
Local Motors Rally Fighter is what it was.
That's exactly what it was.
So it's whatever that place is. It looks like one of the cars that they build. It's like really sleek looking, like an old like Ford Pinto kind of looking shape.
Gotcha.
Like really like a Beetle.
Gotcha.
It looks, but they look super cool. So yeah, we want to check it out.
That electric powertrain stuff is incredible.
Well, that's one of the things that we could definitely spend like a billion years talking about. Like your skill and Casey's skill in your electric and mechanical engineering and stuff like that is like far superior to mine. But just think about being able to like change like the ratio of power from the front end to the rear end, like on the fly, or have a co-driver do that. Like if you were in a position where you got stuck and you needed 70% of the front wheels to grab, or you needed it to slowly like move, like rock crawling, like you could adjust all that stuff on the fly. Like how sick would that be?
Yeah, the more things you get controlled by computers, the level of fine tuning that becomes available is going to be mind numbing.
I wonder how it would be. Like,
even just the boost.
Yeah, the boost would be cool. How do you think it'll be like as far as like reliability and different, like since there's so much stuff like a computer and an electric motor, is there more stuff to break?
I don't know. I feel like it's probably a little bit more
simplified.
Yeah, for sure. So less. There's more electronics going on, but I mean, this day and age, like everything is electronic. Yeah, you have a problem here and there, but I feel like way less. I mean, think about it. Oh, you can't land on power because you're going to blow your drive shaft out or your axles out. Well, you don't have to worry about it.
You just tweak it so it's a little less power.
I'm kind of excited on, like, Jake, I'm sure you'd agree with this, but if you do anything with batteries, you know all the secrets with I'm going to charge it till it's hot, I'm going to this, I'm going to that, you know, all the little things that all us geeks figure out when we're doing something competitive. Yeah, like that. If it's a spec class, I guarantee you all that stuff is going to like maybe even go like beyond what the engineers understand about it.
Yeah, it could.
Don't
you think they have a baseline with that Formula E series though that they're like going to use?
I'm sure they do, but I still feel like you know, we're going to charge it till it's hot, or we're going to charge it when it's hot, or you know what I'm saying?
Overcharge it, run over voltage, get more RPM out of it.
Totally.
And dude, Formula E is so cool too. I was really I was stoked. One of the opportunities I got when I was still racing drones pretty much full time was we got to do we were basically the halftime show at the Formula E event in Brooklyn.
Cool.
And did like a regular racing drone race in between the middle of the day, like while they were racing. And then our main event was we brought they're BFDs. They're very large drones. You can probably figure out what the other part is. They're drones with 8 motors and 15-inch propellers, and a good friend Jordan Temkin and Zach from a couple great guys in the business raced it against a Formula E car, and the drone ended up winning, but
on the track. Yeah, okay.
It crashed at the end.
No.
We went just basically down and back around the loop. It wasn't too crazy, but cool. It was definitely a spectacle.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
That would be pretty cool. I'm still thinking about the name. The name's funny. Well, so let's take a step back real quick because I want to get into the drone stuff, but the reason that we started this show is because we want to understand the people that we think we might know on social media, or that we think we might know as we pass them at the track or at the drone races or wherever it is, right? But most of the time, you really don't know that person very well, and we like to get in depth a little bit more with everybody. So, you know, growing up in a small town, we talked about, you know, like you having a support mechanism with your family and stuff, and obviously your friends. What were kind of the things that you thought of when you were a little kid? Did you think, oh, I want to be a professional off-road racer, or, you know, I really have ambition to be a mechanical engineer? Like, where were you at when you were in your younger years?
Dude, honestly, the first thing I ever wanted to do professionally in my dream world was probably race RC cars. I used to have so much fun doing that, and you know, when you're younger, you don't understand like all of the financial realities that go into that, and you know, trying to make a living racing anything, honestly. But man, I've always loved racing, and I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined I'd get the chances I've gotten. So I think it's cool. I definitely didn't realize when I went into mechanical engineering how little it would directly apply to the racing stuff, but it's definitely fun to try and take those core concepts and you know, reapply it to your specific little slice of the world.
Yeah, well, and you're talking about because the mechanical engineering is so much higher level than just racing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and just abstract, and you know, it's.
I would bet to put it in.
I took a vehicle dynamics course at the U of A, and the professor was super cool. Like, he let me basically turn it into independent study because nobody had ever really looked into how off-road suspension worked in like his class or the time that he had been there.
Right.
So we did a whole thing, like a semester on pro light suspension, and that was really sick.
Oh, I think you told me about that one time.
Super cool.
It is really cool.
Definitely.
So you got to do fluid dynamics and stuff?
Yeah, you get into like the resonant frequencies of the shocks, and it's crazy how different, like wildly different off-road is to on-road, and then some of the things that it shares.
It really is crazy.
And what's so cool, Jake, you would agree, is that you get to dip your toes into that with the RC stuff, because the scale stuff, you don't have the.
When you say scale, you're talking about it's a smaller scale.
Sure, yep,
right.
10 scale, 8 scale, or whatever like that. Yeah, but it ends up being, because you have a servo doing it, you can do things that wouldn't work with a human, but it teaches you those things.
Right.
And to your point, so many times when we were developing a vehicle, it would be the funny thing to say, well, the engineers say it work on paper, right? So I know exactly where you're coming from. So it's cool that you've
it's really
been able
funny.
to have,
Yeah, it's really funny. I feel like when I tell people I'm an engineer in my social circle and my network, like, it's not like a positive thing a lot of the time, because many people who are fabricators or people who have, you know, who like worked in that, they're just like, oh man, so you're gonna try and tell me what to do without any experience, right?
Yeah, like the first answer out of their head is like, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of funny like that, but it's amazing. Dude, that's fun, trying to figure out what the difference between what works on paper and what works on real life. That's the magic.
It really is. That brings up a good point, though, that he's talking about, though, is like, I guess almost all off-road guys or dirt bike guys compared to the guy working in a computer in office. Like, I got half of the jobs that I got working for companies because I wasn't a normal computer guy wearing glasses or just talking like a normal computer guy, right? Like, I could actually speak with the employees at like an action sports company or a music company, and I could talk to them about software engineering or development or whatever the computer language was. I didn't talk in the computer language. I just talked in the regular human language, and that's kind of what you're talking about him, is you're saying he can understand both sides.
Yeah, and it appeals to both sides, because you can walk on that side and on this side and get respect in both. So that's a pretty awesome platform that you've got going.
Hey, so what do you think about this? Oh, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That is pretty neat, though. And do you think that like when you were young, you thought that was going to kind of be your path, or were you just like, nah, I don't care about school?
Man, I don't know. I was encouraged by my parents to go through college and get a degree, and I had skipped a couple grades in elementary school, so I was pretty young going into it. Honestly, it was kind of like going through, like, by the time I got out of college, I finally like understood what was going on, but it was sort of a whirlwind up until that. It was just like more school.
Oh, I got
you. Yeah, but I mean, afterwards, I during college and towards the end of college is sort of when it started to sink in that race car driver is a real hard game to make enough money to live on in, or even, you know, it was the financial realities of life, as I say it. But you know, I honestly wanted to be a race car driver, and hell, I still do. I mean,
yeah, who doesn't though, right? So
yeah, right. If it was,
one of the things that I was gonna bring up, and we'll go back into it, but you remember that first? I had asked you a bunch of questions before I even got my first off-road razor. Casey actually drove that thing.
Thing was awesome.
Oh, sweet!
I loved it.
That's awesome, dude. The unicorn?
No, this was the
the first one.
Yeah, the one that I asked you about. It was this. I think it was this a twin car or a sister car of the one that you had. It was a Razor 900 built by Car One.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome, dude.
So I went out like that. I went out that first time with you. I think that was the first time I ever got on the course. And then I think the second time I went, Casey showed up and he got to drive it.
It was so much fun. Here's a helmet and a radio. Cool. Punch it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Don't land on throttle. Yep, I get it. It's going to be expensive if you do that.
You gotta love the axle problems that you can have with razors. I mean, I don't know. I haven't had one of the newer models. We've been looking at them, trying to figure out which one will work best.
It's all the same stuff. They got more power, so they got beefed up axles, but they got more power too. So you just got to drive it like you know how. Well, before we get into talking about all the razor stuff, so while you were going to college, you were still like doing the racing stuff, though, right?
Yeah, when I raced ATVs, like quads, all the way up until the end of high school, and maybe once or twice in college, but the workload kind of was taking me by storm a little bit there. I was having trouble staying in shape to be competitive on quads. It's really, I mean, I'm sure a lot of your viewers know, but it's incredible how much it takes cardiovascularly and in terms of conditioning to be good on
around 450 pounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, God, yeah, that too. But after a year or two of college, I had been having pretty much withdrawals about racing and my adrenaline addiction. And through the course of building my first truck, I had a white Raptor that we kind of built out into like a baby show vehicle through SDHQ, those same guys in Phoenix.
Oh, cool.
I met them and they got me into the Lucas Oil stuff, the short course racing, and it was really cool. I'm really grateful for the help they gave. And I started with a mini stock, a Ranger, a Ford Ranger.
Was that the white one that we did? We showed people in the intro.
Oh yeah, the one with the big flying pig decals.
Doesn't that thing hurt your back when you land though? The suspension on those look like it's so gnarly.
Yeah, it's definitely touching down. I'm a couple inches shorter than when I started off-road racing. I'll put it that way.
But it probably taught you how to drive like super smooth though, because you're like trying to avoid all the bumps and scrub over the jumps.
Yeah. It was definitely a driving clinic, and I miss it a lot. Like, it was fun days. They were like wannabe pro lights because they had 12 inches of suspension.
We got to read, Casey. We read him that comment right here from Sam Strobe.
There's two comments. Maddox Design says, "Yeah, buddy, Jake is the man." All caps.
Will Maddox, Taco Slayer.
Yep. So he had some emotion there.
What's up, dude?
And then Sam Strobe says, "My man Jake is like the post office. All he does is send it."
Dude, I'm gonna start saying that now. My man Jake is like the post office. All he does is send it.
That's awesome.
Aaron Browning said, "Hey, bro," too. So it is cool to have all these people join in and comment. So yeah, if you have any questions for Jake, or you just want to tell us another form of how hard he sends it, send in your jokes too. All right, so SDHQ obviously helped you out quite a bit, but what was the next step? Like, well, actually, since you had the Raptor, then they were like, "Hey, try this truck," or like, what was the catalyst to get into it?
It was more of like hitting critical mass with my desire to go racing. And being around SDHQ at the time that they were there, I think they were title sponsor for the first couple years of the Lucas Oil Regionals in Arizona. So they were trying to get that program going, and I sort of heard about it and then started asking questions and talking to the organizers, Tim in Arizona, and the rest sort of snowballed from there. It was like started looking for a truck.
That's pretty cool. And then so you got into one of those. How long did that pro stock last?
It was like 2 or 3 years. I guess I ran it for two years about. It was a good time though. Got a bunch of podiums in it. It was a fun truck. It definitely learned a lot. It was really a huge learning experience for me in terms of off-road, that there's nothing you can do about your weight disadvantage. And it really sunk in when we went testing in the short course truck, and that Ranger with 12 inches of travel on every corner, because of how much lighter it was, you could just pin it through the gnarliest stuff and like over anything. Whereas in the Raptor, which, let's be real, like I had spent a lot more money, a lot more time, a lot more effort on trying to get the suspension set up. There's only so much you can do with 6,600 pounds.
Right.
You just slam it into stuff. So that was a big learning experience I had from the Ranger days.
Yeah, we got that same learning experience when we started doing the side-by-side stuff. But then after you did the Ranger, you quickly moved into the Superlight, right?
Yeah, the Superlight came about a little bit.
I always thought that was such a cool class.
Yeah, dude, it really was. It definitely taught me to love rotaries a little bit. They're pretty crazy as long as you keep them revved high.
Yeah.
125.
Yeah, dude, it really was. Like, you'd have to be pinned. You'd see in some of the corners, like if somebody missed a shift or like got off throttle or something, they would just get gapped or like passed. Yeah. And they wouldn't even make that big of a mistake. It would be like half a second, and all of a sudden, they're gone.
That makes cool close racing though. Like you said, it's driver.
Kind of like what Sarah was saying.
She
was
said
like
that.
the
That's
spec
right.
stuff, right?
Yep, that's right.
So
absolutely, gotta love spec racing no matter what it is.
Can you explain a little bit about the Superlight series though? Because I don't remember how it worked, but I thought there was like somebody maintains the vehicle and then you pay to be part of the series, or how does it work?
So you were allowed to do either way. Like, they even had packages where you could, if you have deep pockets, you could arrive and drive, and they would prep your truck for you and all that kind of stuff. I ended up buying a truck from my college roommate's dad, cool. Mike McCarthy. He used to do a lot of the desert racing stuff. He's one of the OG like BF Goodrich Rough Riders, and he did testing on the Raptor for Ford. So he had a Superlight that he was getting out of short course because he was going full desert, and he made us a good deal on it. So I ended up buying it outright so I could do most of the prep. And I actually had like a storage locker in town in Tucson. And I would go to the storage locker and do all the prep on it. We had a little scissor lift in there and all my toolboxes and stuff. It was like my little race shop because I was living in the dorms. Like, I was living in dorms and apartments.
Dude, how cool a story is that?
Yeah, definitely.
Dude, when you want
cool.
something bad enough.
Yep.
Dude, I really wanted it. And honestly, I wish that it had gone a different way. But I got, let's see, I was unlucky when Lucas Oil dropped Superlight from their national series. They dropped Superlight and Limited Buggy and maybe one other class at the time, but it really left me with a really expensive race car with no series to run. So it was kind of like it took a little while to recover from that overinvestment, you know?
Yeah, it's like a kick in the nuts, man. Did you hear the news that they dropped Pro 4s?
Oh, yeah, I heard that they dropped Pro 4s this year. I mean, that's a bummer, too, man.
Well, now they're all going out to Johnny Greaves series, but it's
nice.
Just, it sucks. I mean,
I hope to make it to Crandon this year for the first time.
Dude, if you take some of those drones and do some filming out there, that'd be insane cool. Because there's nobody other than the guy that stands there with the camera and tries to whip the camera around to get that first turn. There's nobody that can keep up and get it good enough. Like, if you could get the drones out there and start filming that to get some of the actual like speed that they carry through that first turn. Because they're going like 100 miles an hour or something through that first turn, fully sideways. Talk about sending it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
And can you imagine being on the? Because nobody has a camera on the outside because they have too many crashes. If you had a drone that could follow the outside,
it could be on the outside.
Yeah,
yep,
that would be so cool, man.
Super cool.
Dude, fingers crossed, because short course is easily the most fun thing to film because it just hits me right in the feels.
Yeah,
it's like so much fun.
Exactly.
Well, not probably. The cool part is so you're doing this, you can do it, you're skilled at it, but at the same time, you also understand the racing that you're covering.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Absolutely. Being able to know where the truck's going to be at.
Right.
And, honestly, that with off-road, anything dirt, I feel like the most underrated difficulty part of dirt is that all the cars are throwing rocks at you the whole time. They're constantly trying to take down the drone.
Right.
Dude, how many times were we in a side-by-side, which is hardly any horsepower at all, right? And we're going around the track, and all of a sudden there's a rock that's like 12 inches big, like all the way around, coming right at your head. Like, and it's a little side-by-side, right? Can you imagine being in a Pro 4?
Oh,
like,
my
holy
gosh.
smokes.
Cannon.
Yeah, I've definitely had some crazy stuff where I'm like 50 feet up and 100 feet back, and all of a sudden a golf ball will take me out, and I'm just like, dude, what happened?
Oh, like
trophy truck, especially.
Have you had anything happen gnarly with the drones like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the cool thing about the racing drones, and especially we Stay Up FPV is my website, so we sell the parts. They're really affordable compared to like larger drones or more of the cinema stuff. So if it's the kind of thing where when I go out to film like a trophy truck, for instance, we'll bring 6 or 7 drones just in case something like that happens.
Oh wow, that's pretty crazy. And then like just depending on what the actual film or process is that you're going through, you have all the equipment. So we'll get back into that too. Like at the end, you can plug your website and stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to ask so many questions because he's got so much cool stuff. But so the Superlight stuff, first of all, I'm intrigued by that. The reason that I got into short course racing was because I didn't want to, ride dirt bikes anymore and get hurt. But I had seen a guy that his name is Ricky James, racing a Superlight truck. And I thought, and he's in a wheelchair and he was using hand controls and stuff. And I go, wow, maybe there is something behind this. And I had raced him a couple years prior in the X Games on a dirt bike. And he had like adaptive stuff on his dirt bike. And I thought, well, maybe I can adapt something, not a Superlight, but something like that for me. So I went and tested in Casey Curry's Pro Light. And I was like, wow, this is fantastic. Like, of course, I'm shitty in it right now because it's not made for me. And like,
right.
I was like how you were in the Razor because Jake's a big guy, and I was like sitting in Casey's truck because he's like 5 foot nothing. And
he's a little guy.
Yeah, and I couldn't even barely like get in there and move around. But I was like, if I could make it so that I could do stuff and shift it if it was automatic, I could do it like a Razor.
Do it, yeah.
And I was like, shit, this is going to be so awesome. And then so I started doing the research, and I contacted Jake and the guys at the UTV Wolfpack. And Jake I had met through RC car racing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no freaking way. Like, this guy is like my total ticket to understanding what side-by-sides are because he does it. Mm-hmm. Like, this is going to be insane. And so we just established a friendship from there, and we were like, it took off, man. I was so excited. And to know that he was in the same town as me, holy cow.
Yeah, what are the chances?
It just happened, yeah.
Pretty awesome.
And
it was really cool to have a short course friend in Tucson.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, him and I used to always go to the track together. We'd be like, dude, can you believe it? We're both here together. Like, we should be the only one. But then, honestly, it turned into like a little bit bigger, though. I think 4 or 5 guys from Tucson ended up at the peak, like when it was all, But now hardly anybody races UTVs short course in Tucson anymore.
Yeah.
But it was
ebb and flow, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of sucks that COVID ruined all this stuff. But I honestly think that the series could do a much better job at getting people to be out there. Well, yeah, I was going to talk about Lucas, but let's keep talking about you, Jake. So the next step for you then was getting rid of the Superlight and finding something else.
Yeah, it took a little while. I started building the UTV while I still had the Superlight, and just like we would take it to practice days, or I took it out to the sand dunes once for fun, and that was pretty sweet. They're a really cool sand car because they're really light and they're built a little bit like a sand rail with the trailing arms in the rear and the A arms up front.
Did you film it?
No, I didn't film it. Dude, at that time I never would have believed that I would be in on the media side. It's so funny. It's like,
right.
I don't know. It's just I was around it for so long, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm a media guy now. What happened? This is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, we are too.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, who'd have thought we'd be talking on a janky little podcast, right?
Nah, dude, this is awesome.
So you decided you were like, oh, UTVs are coming in, like getting popular. Or?
Yeah, I think they had a year. I think it was 2 or 3 years after they started running the 900s, and the UTV Wolfpack had a big team, and it sort of seemed like UTV racing was a good way to get in without the as much of a financial outlay, and more of a spec racing deal. Come to find out that there's many different ways that you can spec race, but it was definitely the next step for me. It felt like there was some good traction in the UTV world, and it still is. It's just been blowing up ever since. It continues to get bigger,
and it brings the camaraderie too, because you still get the same off-road aspect. In fact, Robert Blanton just chimed in and said, "What up, family?" And honestly, he is family to us now, but we met him through UTV racing, through the Wolfpack guys, and through Jake and everybody. So it's kind of cool to see all of the collaboration come together. Everybody's kind of into the same thing, and for me, it was UTVs that brought us in. For Jake, it was the trucks, but ended up being UTVs. For the Wolfpack guys, it was UTVs. It's kind of neat to see all that. And we can call you a UTV guy since you drove one.
Yeah. I want one. I just don't have the garage for it.
Well,
Lately, I've been,
like Jake was saying, they're expensive, man.
So, Jake, let's back up just a sec. So you had this sweet race truck you finally finished. All of a sudden, you don't have a series for it. Now you're looking at it. Are you like, okay, Facebook Marketplace, what do you do?
Oh, man, it was...
Sell it as a sand car?
Yeah, I can't even lie. It was honestly heartbreaking. And after a while, it just became like, I don't want to drive it because I don't want to end up putting more money into it before I sell it. So it was like, for a couple months, like we took it to 2 or 3 regional events after they kicked it from the national series, and then a regional shootout, which was like the end of the year. But other than that, man, it was just like going out there and Scotch Brighting it and rubbing it down with WD-40 until I got more bites on Race Desert and Craigslist.
Nice.
I sold it to a buddy of mine who ended up racing a couple regional rounds with it, and then he sold it on, and I actually have no idea where that car is now, but it was a beautiful specimen because Mike McCarthy, the previous owner, he had a full shop and he loves to work on stuff. I mean, he's honestly the only reason I was ever able to get in it. Like it doesn't have a roomy cockpit, and I'm 6'8", and I'm not a small dude.
I wonder what happens.
We relocated the steering column and all kinds of ridiculous stuff.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I bet.
6'8".
That's good, though. I wonder what happens to some of those, even in other forms of racing, but like let's just say an older Pro 4 or a Pro 2 or something. Like, where do those cars end up going?
I know. That's kind of where I was going with that was you think about all that time and effort that gets put into something, and then it's like, oh, man. What do I do?
Yeah, it doesn't justify itself without the racing series to go out there and you got to get sponsors, and then it was like what it was we had already signed a bunch of sponsorship deals for the year, and it was the biggest year of sponsorship I had ever had, and especially we had TV coverage, and so to go into that and then have them cancel the Superlight for that year, I had to give money back because without the TV exposure, it's a different program.
Right, you're not living up to
it was gnarly.
Yep.
So then you were like, dude,
gnarly learning experience.
Well, that's a good learning experience though too, because if you didn't have that, then you may have not continued if you didn't have the sponsors and stuff. So what you were just like, screw it, I'm going to get a UTV then?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, well, I got to race short course somehow, and UTV had a really good competitive class, and I think by the time I left, there was 40 cars or something. I think in the 1,000 class, the last year that I ran, so it was.
Do you remember what year you started in? Were the Wolfpack guys already champions in that class when you started?
I think so. I think it was with the 900s, and I think I started the year after they had the big team with all the white cars, and Brian Carr was on it, and all the.
So it was probably like 11 or something like that, maybe.
Man, I'm really bad at putting a number on it, but that sounds close.
Yeah, something like that. I just remember that it was probably like 14 or something, because I started in 2015, I think, late 2014. You know what? I was thinking about this the other day. I never actually completed a full series ever because I had to work. I was so pissed. I only got to do, like in the 900, I only got to do like 4 races or 5 races or something like that. It sucks.
Oh, man, it's tough, man. It's tough getting out there. And honestly, like lately, I'm running the numbers every which way, trying to figure out what I can go racing again or where the fun per dollar is highest. So it definitely gets under your skin a little bit.
Yeah, it does. What would you choose right now? Actually, no, we're saving that for the rapid fire.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Put that in the bank.
Yeah, put that in the bank. So
get ready for it.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
All right, so we can kind of start off with some more stuff that Casey will be familiar with. Do you remember when you first saw Jake at the RC car track? Because he was racing RC cars during almost this whole time.
Yeah, it feels like it was maybe that same time frame.
2010 to 2015?
Yeah, right about there. Maybe 14, 15. Yeah. Does that sound about right? No, actually, it would have been before
I had
that.
Probably like
11.
3 or 4. I think it was before that.
Yeah, it was.
I had a bunch of different like flow with RC. Like I bought in really heavily like 3 or 4 times, and then when you're growing up, other stuff catches your attention.
Yep, sure.
But there was I did hobby town for a long time, and then we had that indoor track competition hobby. Did that for a long time, and then I think about when you guys opened big time, I was running a lot then too, and that was 8 scale days was kind of fun.
It was, yeah. So that was for sure like 2010 or before.
Yeah, and that was another one of those things that God bless my dad, he would drag me around to all the RC races and up to Phoenix, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, but
it was
again,
definitely.
What's crazy is, again, we were talking about, okay, you built this sweet truck, right? Oh, bummer, I can't do anything with it. But you got valuable experience of, the value, like you just said. That's a perfect way to look at it now. What's the best bang for the buck to get in? Because you're not the only one thinking of that. There's plenty of us old moto heads that would love to do something, right? But then you did all this this RC stuff, and that taught you some wrenching and whatever, and thinking and strategy
and hand-eye coordination.
And absolutely, eye and hand coordination. And then the next thing, like I said, it's just all of a sudden we look at the fast forward and we look at the end, and it's like every one of those things is exactly what you needed to do what you're doing. It's so cool. We hear this story so often.
It really is. And then the neat thing about it is for us, Jake, is like we get to connect the dots in reverse. We get to Tarantino it.
It's easy for us. Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. Well, no, and it's definitely, it makes me introspective hearing you guys connect the dots, because it's true. It's incredible how it sort of came about organically from one step to the next. But I can tell you at no point have I felt like I knew what I was doing.
I think that's all of us.
The good thing about that is like, I don't know if his parents knew what he was doing either, but they were supporting him the whole way too. Mm-hmm. So they were like, all right, well, if this is what he wants to do at this moment in time, and we have support mechanisms like that as well, but it's just cool to see all that stuff happen, because let's just say he wanted to go RC car racing, and Dad said, no, those are stupid. You don't want to play with toys.
Right.
Then he would have never ended up in the position that he is now, being able to do this cool stuff. So it works both ways, whether the kid wants to be dynamic and drive towards that stuff, or whether the parents are going to be supportive. So you have to have the whole circle to be able to do it. So I think it's super, super cool. What was the best part about like racing the RCs then?
Oh man, RCs was just like, that was my life. I was like the full obsession phase. I would have tables set up all over my room and building and all the setup sheets, and I was always trying to download all the pro setups from from the Roar Nats and all that. I could copy that setup and then see how it worked not at Hobbytown, that's a bad match, but you know what I mean. Like trying to figure out the setups like we were talking about.
It's really crazy because you were doing exactly what we were doing, reverse engineering it. You were using all the reverse engineer stuff on the actual RC car and like being like, oh, last time I drove it like swapped a little bit here and I could change this. And
yeah, it's really, honestly, I think it's underrated how good RC cars are. Specifically the racing stuff.
Totally agree.
Can be as a tool for like just suspension modeling. It's incredible, like all the concepts that you learn.
100%.
It really does. It helped me a lot when I started doing the short course stuff too. I wasn't anywhere near your guys' level, but at least I could understand a little bit of it. Oh, this tire needs a little bit more air or something.
Sure.
Like, dang, that's pretty cool, man. So were you able to transition any of that knowledge that you gained into some of the racing stuff? Because you were kind of learning the racing stuff and the RC stuff at the same time. Like, it didn't happen before. So were you able to like cross over any of that stuff?
Yeah, I think a little bit here and there. Maybe, I guess it was interesting because I always felt like there was a lot of maintenance time per amount of laps gotten when you were talking about RC cars, but
for sure.
I had no idea what to be prepared for when I went to full scale. It's like, man, like,
we were talking about that too. Is like, and at the regional level, it was nice because you got to drive a lot. But when we hit UTVs on the professional level, I'm sure it's way worse with a Pro 2 or a Pro 4, but I would get roughly 40 hours of work into the UTV, and that was before every race. I had to put 40 to 120 hours of work into the UTV, and I would get roughly 25 minutes of drive time over the weekend.
Yeah, RC's like 4-1.
Yeah,
4-1 for RC.
So this is about the same.
Yeah, close.
Yeah, and you just sit there and you go, we just spent all this money and all this time.
I know.
But it was fun.
Well, it speaks to how okay, so once again, how long were you at the track? Just throw a number. 12 hours?
Oh, like the whole weekend, you mean? Yeah, it was usually a 4-day weekend.
You'll see where I'm going with this. Okay, so let's say it's 40 hours.
Okay.
20 hours. And you race how many?
25 minutes.
This is a positive. Trust me where I'm going with this. 20 minutes, right? How much time did you spend mingling, meeting friends, making relationships that last forever?
Ooh, I got a good answer for this one. We even brought little scale RC UTVs to the track with
Perfect.
jumps for the pits so the kids can come over and play with us.
but to that point, I think in all those levels of racing is why the community is so tight knit.
That's a really good point, actually. That's a really good point.
Absolutely. Like when I think of a community now, I think of a racing community, and that's like it's part of why I pushed to do this with the drones. Is that the only place like I feel really happy and like at home is around racing or at a racetrack, or someone's got to be sending it somewhere.
And it really does
feeling.
And it does put you back in place, like with around those common folk too.
Yep.
Like in the same place, because you still associate with a lot of people that would be at the track. Oh, that reminds me actually of being at the track. Do you remember at Wild Horse Pass when they had that huge storm and we had brought the toy hauler and you had brought your just the Easy Up and your trailer, and Shayna was there too, and we were trying to hold down all the Easy Ups and the storm was blowing everything so far.
Yeah, dude, that was one of the gnarliest storms, and that was, man, I hated having to make that call because I borrowed, I think, all the Easy Up stuff from Car One or whoever was keeping like the main team stuff.
Dude, those
I brought
things
like
were
a
toast.
20.
Oh no, yeah, they
Dude,
were
I
wrecked.
brought like a 20 by 10. I'm sure it's like a $3,000 Easy Up or whatever it was. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna rep the team like on the Arizona side, whatever. And it just, oh god, it was so bad. The
Took
wind
flight.
and the rain.
I remember
Yeah, it took flight and then folded into just sticks.
So we're all like Jake's a pretty big dude. I'm almost 200 pounds, and then my dad's a pretty big dude, and Shayna was little, but we were all trying to hold, like his Easy Up blew off. It was long gone. We're trying to hold down our Easy Ups. They're held by 5-gallon gas cans and tires and stuff, and we're holding on to them, and I was flying out like through the air, like holding on to just my edge.
Yep, that's usually how those go. And then at some point, that last person lets go. It goes into the power lines or something.
For whatever
so many
reason,
times,
for whatever reason, somebody was looking out for our Easy Up because it didn't get destroyed.
Oh, nice. You guys
you
made it.
Thank you, Lord, baby Jesus, because that thing stayed, man. It was a crazy storm, though. I still remember that to this day. And I remember I was trying to eat a hamburger, and the hamburger got cold.
See ya hamburger. So Matt Gerald says, crazy how many have done RC and off-road trucks. And I think he's meaning all the people that we've talked to. There's a common interest deep down somewhere.
Yeah, and we know Matt, too. Matt was actually on a previous show, and he likes playing with RC cars, too.
Yep.
So it is really crazy. And you think about it, like when we talked to Adam Drake last week on the show, and just having his understanding of the mechanical skills that he's learned through that and starting in motocross and stuff, it really gives you a different perspective on what transitions over, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. And you told me it a million times when I first got into RC car racing, but I didn't have any knowledge that I was going to do real short course racing when I first started. And I was like, no, this is just a little toy.
Yeah, whatever.
Right? Yeah.
How many washers? Okay.
Yeah.
2? I have 3. How about that?
But at the end, 2 or 3 years later, I was like, holy crap, this is insane.
Totally is, yeah.
well, I guess that kind of keeps going on.
That is a really funny thought when you think about I definitely I'm sure we both got a lot from racing RC cars and all that kind of stuff, but imagine how much more you could have absorbed if you had known you were going to use it.
Totally.
That's a really good point, yeah.
Totally.
So
life lessons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So with the spec racing, though, we couldn't add washers.
Yeah.
All right, so you got into doing the UTV stuff. How'd you do in the UTV world?
Man, not as well as I would have ever liked. A lot of top 5s and a lot of top 10s, but man, I think I only got 1 or 2 podiums in the couple of years I was running, and it was let's be real, it was just because Cody Raiders wasn't there, and so it just moved everybody up one.
Yeah, he was actually a really good driver. I was actually pretty stoked that we all got to race together because I learned a lot from he's a young kid, but I learned a lot from all those guys. We had a comment come in on my personal live feed that we had. It said, Robbie Michael says, "What's up, Jake?"
Oh yeah, dude, Robbie's the man. That's my old roommate that I was talking about, and his dad is the gentleman who I bought the Superlight from.
Oh, he's the one with all the skills to change the steering column.
Yeah. Well, man, we were in there. Robbie was in there with a grinder, and I think he had a big cast on his arm when we were working on the Superlight. So he was a fire hazard.
Nice.
He was a fire hazard. So Aaron Quintero says, "Jakers, yeah, buddy, one solid." hombre right there.
Yeah.
Dude, Aaron and Seth are such cool people, man. I remember I met them when I was working at UTV Underground, and I think it was at the Mint 400. I was like loading stuff, loading and unloading stuff into the truck. Oh, I was loading a Razor 170 alone, trying to unload it, and I bumped into Aaron, and he ran up and was helping me, and it was just, I don't know, man. That's how you know that's a good dude. We were complete strangers, and he really saved my butt that first time.
That's pretty cool. That's the whole off-road community. We talk about it all the time. Everybody's down to help.
Yep.
Do you have any good memories, like the one I just brought up about the easy ups? Like any, not with us, but like with other people that you can share with the off-road community?
Yeah, man. The off-road wise, I mean,
it doesn't even have to be like at the races. I mean, you could be like hanging out, like you said, when you worked at UTV Underground. I'm sure you had a lot of cool memories from that too.
Yeah, man. It's the hardest part is choosing a story, I guess. But I mean, speaking of Robbie and his dad, I always thought it was really funny. I got a lot faster when Mike McCarthy started spotting for me, because prior to that, it had been my dad or it was mostly my dad. But I'm trying to figure out what the nice way to put this is. Is Mike wasn't afraid to be mean.
Yeah.
And be like, rotate that sumbee. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's get that thing going.
Nice.
It is kind of crazy.
Sometimes you need that.
Well, it is kind of crazy, though. Like, you talked about pits in the RC car world, like having a good pit guy and strategy and stuff like that, right? Like, we figured out pretty quickly, and Jake can attest to this with what he's just saying, is like, my dad was not a good spotter for me. Shayna was not a good spotter for me because they're emotionally invested, right? So it's...
Yeah, that's different. That's a good point.
It's very, very difficult for them to do it because they're looking out for you instead of trying to push you.
Right. Yeah. So, and to the Aaron Browning's point, yay, mom and dad. She was, I think it's a she, was talking about how much they were there for you, no matter what you did. So I totally can see it. He's up there thinking,
super emotionally invested in keeping Jake safe.
Don't tip it. Don't hit this. Don't. Yeah. Where this guy's like, send it, punch it.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, send it. Definitely had some of my first rolls in short course after that, but
you got to know how far you can push it.
What did you think like when you had your first crash?
Honestly, the first one, I was just mortified. I was so embarrassed in the mini stock. I just tipped it up on its side, and I was stuck there on the side I had to watch everybody go by. That was torture. But
yeah, that's
man. Then
whole shotting and falling in the first turn.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be that guy ever. I think my funniest one was at Firebird, and I had my college professor. He was riding along with me. And he was an astronomy professor. He wasn't my professor, but it was a gentleman that I became friends with who taught astrophysics and astronomy at the U of A. And we would race together a little bit. So he came along, and he was my co-driver for the race. And we came off the front straightaway at Firebird, and on the last it's like a tabletop, I landed and my right rear stub axle sheared, and the truck just like tipped into the corner. Like instead of planting and gripping, it tipped. And we rolled like 3 times, just ground sky, ground sky, ground sky, ground sky. And I was just like, I just thought that was so funny that the worst accident I ever had, I had my college professor in the car with me just for a rando ride along.
Yeah, it figures, right? That's what...
was he doing calculations to figure out?
He's like, we're going to stop rotating in 3.5 seconds.
Exactly. We're not allowed to do motorsport stuff together anymore because... We went out in his Cobra and had a really gnarly get off on the track out at Firebird too, actually.
Oh no!
So maybe it's just
Firebird. It's just Firebird.
Firebird. Maybe he's
or
like
Wild Horse Pass.
He's got bad luck out there or something. All right, so you got into the UTVs. You did pretty well. You obviously made a lot of friends and stuff, and I wanted to thank you for all the help that you gave me. Like when I first started racing them, I remember being out at the local track here and. At telling you, like I had gone out, I think one time before you had come out there with me, or maybe it was my first time, but I went out there and I was kind of just like riding around like a dirt bike track, right? Because I was thinking, oh, this is pretty cool. Like it felt slow in my head, just like what we were talking about when he does the drones, but because I was used to the dirt bike speed, right? And how many your eyes go all over the place. And I was like, man, like I feel like I could go faster. And Jake comes up to me and he goes, if you can drive like that or a little bit better, you'll do pretty good in side-by-side racing, like because he knew what I was getting into, right?
Sure.
Like he had already been into it, and I had no clue. So that was one of the things that propelled me the furthest in the whole side-by-side racing that I did, because I always remembered that comment. I said, even if I have a bad day, I know that I can go faster if I use that dirt bike sense, because Jake told me.
That's cool. Awesome.
Absolutely, man. I feel like the more off-road platforms you get experience with, they all sort of feed into each other, and it's symbiotic.
Yeah,
Agreed.
but you gave words of wisdom to me, and they helped me through my career, so I really appreciated that for sure. And he didn't even know he was doing it, and I didn't know he was doing it at the time either, but it was neat to see. And I remember like driving around with him going, dude, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep up with him. And like he waxed me pretty good that first day, and I was like, I got some steps to go to accomplish. But it was neat. It was really, really cool. And he had experience, and he learned it kind of like you did on his own, you know, like he didn't have anybody. So I've always been able to have somebody to look up to, you know what I mean? So it was cool.
Yeah, it was really awesome too, having a friend to practice with locally. That was good times.
Yeah, I wish we could have done it more. It's like, don't you feel like it's weird that the off-road community, like, they only drive when they race, like they don't ever practice?
It's so weird. It's
too
so
expensive.
I mean, and
It really is.
Too much wrenching.
and then you get to the level where it's like it sort of feels like you have to rent the track, you know, in order to get the setup dialed the week before the race and all that kind of stuff. It's like really, it's incredible the number of incidentals that start to add up when you try and get better and better at it.
Dude, it really is. Plus, I think to rent Wild Horse Pass is like $5 or $10 or something like that.
Ouch.
Oh man!
And that's just for a day because of the insurance.
Yeah. I remember I split it with people a couple times. I never picked up the whole tab, thank God.
Yeah, thank goodness. Glen Helen and I think Lake Elsinore are much cheaper to rent. Lake Elsinore was my favorite track. What was your favorite track?
Honestly, at Lake Elsinore, I have the most memories of that spot. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's reopened now?
Yeah, for practice and stuff. I don't think Lucas has an agreement with them.
Oh, okay. I heard, actually, it was McCrath. I heard he was going testing out there, and I was like, what?
Oh,
it's
sweet.
back?
Do you get to go out there and hang out with them or no?
You know, any chance I get, I always love to go. You know, if we're not booked, I'll go out just for the fun of it. But otherwise, you know, we've been doing a lot of video work, and a lot of times when they go out to practice, they don't run the bodies, and none of the race car guys want us to film them without the bodies usually. So
yeah,
right.
It's like a rare occurrence when they practice with the bodies.
Sure.
Oh, it's only $1,500 to rent Crandon or ERX, Matt said. Dang, that's pretty cool. Ooh. We could go up there and rent that for cheaper than we could go into Phoenix.
No kidding.
I've always wanted to try ERX too. It looks like a really cool track, and it was sort of after my time.
I feel like ERX would be like super fun. Did you sell your UTV then?
Yeah, I sold the 900 pretty soon after I stopped racing it, honestly. I was, you know, toying with the idea of going into the 1000 class for a little bit, but it was sort of, that was what I was talking about when there were 40 cars. It was just kind of like, it was a gnarly class to try and compete in with 40 cars, man. It's the UTV spending starts to look like pro light spending.
It
I remember
really does.
thinking really hard about going with a pro buggy at that time, because it was like, well, if it's going to be that much of a buy-in, you might as well just go with the pro buggy. But there was only like 5 or 6 cars, so it's sort of, it's nice to have high car counts, but it's definitely, it raises the level of competition so much.
Dude, that was like the heyday of the UTV stuff. I remember being at Glen Helen. I don't know if you were racing that weekend, but I was in a 1000 class too, and there was, I think, 35 or something guys on the starting line. I started 28th and ended up almost like I was like 6 inches from a podium.
Nice.
I couldn't believe it, though, because that was like one of those, you can vouch for it, though, is like you thought that no matter what, if you started that far back, something was going to break or some mayhem was going to happen.
Yeah, you never know, though. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. But those car counts were so freaking cool, man.
Absolutely. I mean, and, you know, short course is so cool. I've always felt like any motorsports fan anywhere, the saying I used to say, I was like, if you take any motorsports fan and you have them stand next to the track when the Pro 4s go by, I guarantee you can't deny that. You can't deny that's the best thing you've ever seen.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so bummed that Lucas is not doing the Pro 4s anymore.
Yeah, I know.
But at least you'll hopefully be able to go up to Crandon and kind of hang out with all those guys. I think that drone filming up there would be so freaking rad.
Oh, absolutely, man. I really want to make it out to Crandon. I've always wanted to race there, but you know, I'll take drone filming if I have to.
Do the UTVs go around the first turn pin like that or no?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen the UTVs racing out there.
Yeah, me neither. I thought they raced a shorter track, but I'm not sure. So what was the next thing that you got into then? Obviously, you got out of the UTV racing. What was the catalyst behind, like, did you have a next goal that you wanted to reach in life?
Man, honestly, that was one of the harder times in my life. I definitely struggled with a little bit of depression and trying to figure out where I fit into the world, as traditional mechanical engineering jobs didn't have a lot of joy for me. It was a lot of like CAD stuff or, designing plumbing fixtures and that kind of stuff. So I was really lucky. I was able to find work with Joey D and UTV Underground, and I had a lot of fun there for a couple years, but it was sort of, it didn't have anything to do with mechanical engineering. So I felt like I couldn't hang out there too long, but it was really a great time and a good way to stay involved with UTV racing. That was around the time that I was waffling back and forth about building a 1000 and going back to short course. But yeah, I was at UTV Underground for a few years. That was a lot of fun. Joey D taught me a lot and had a lot of crazy opportunities with them. We went to Mexico for a run down the peninsula with RJ and Bryce Menzies and Chad and Larry Ragland, who, rest in peace, Chad. That guy, he was such an incredible man. I got to meet him like 3 or 4 times, and he was one of the kindest people I've ever met in off-road racing, for sure. Like, I don't know, he was cool. Nobody really, like, the drone thing's a little bit nerdy, whatever, but Chad was always super interested in drones, and, we would talk about him and got him into it a little bit. So, R.I.P. Chad, gotta love that guy.
Well, so there's a thing that's coming up, though, is Jake's always made friends at the track, right? And now he's working for UTV Underground, which is one of the biggest UTV content platforms out there, and so now he's being able to shake hands with all these people, right? It's the same thing that we've been talking about. It's all culminating to where he's going now, because when you start being a content guy, you have to know everybody.
Well, and it's funny, I hear it in your voice a little bit. Yeah, okay, it's a nerdy thing, whatever. Own that, man.
Yeah,
I owned that at in what we did. Because how about this? Wow, did you see that whatever that McCrath just did? Yeah, you don't see it without you, right?
Yeah. No, man, I appreciate that. It's really cool, and I probably didn't have enough respect for what it takes to get some of this cool content produced before having gone through the act of producing it, because it's incredible the amount of manpower and equipment that gets brought to bear for some of these projects.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Like, I actually really respect that, and I talked to Brian Lambert a couple times and the stuff that he uses, and obviously I talked to Jake and stuff, but just a little, like I said, janky podcast that we have takes a ton of effort to do, and like, all we do is talk for 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever. Well, last week 4 hours.
Yeah.
Every Monday night. Like, but the amount of actual work. So I can only imagine what it takes to produce some of the stuff that he's putting out.
Well, and anytime anybody puts that kind of effort into, I don't care what it is, I always say this, world championship chess, it's still the coolest thing, you know what I mean? And if those people are calling you on purpose, right? They're calling the guy, like we all have a guy or a lady or whatever it is. I want the guy who does that for me, because that is the time that it matters the most. So it's pretty cool to be that pivot guy, right? That's
Absolutely. I definitely, I feel you. And it's, I just never imagined a world where I would get to meet some of these people. Like McCrath, I can call him a friend, and like that blows my mind,
right.
And how gracious everybody is, and the amount of respect that everybody respects hard work, no matter what genre you're putting work in.
Agreed.
If you can put in the work to differentiate yourself in your little niche, it's really cool. Some of the opportunities that can come from that.
Dude, I love that.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So obviously you were putting in a lot of hard work. You were still, going to school and doing all these other things when you were working with. I don't know if you're going to school, but you were working with Joey D. But I remember you giving me a call a few times when you were working at UTV Underground, because you wanted to start your own business doing the drone stuff and selling drone parts and stuff, right?
Yeah, man. It was definitely. It was a slow build into the drone business stuff. It started out as I used to go shoot. It started out as trying to make content for my racing drone channels, and during the high watermark of FPV and racing drones and all that kind of stuff. Like I went to Dubai and that was sort of like the real litmus test for me of like, oh man, this might be like a real career playing with toy helicopters. And after a couple years, I have a couple good friends that are making a great living, but the number's very small to be a professional racing drone pilot. So the off-road and the filming stuff initially started out as just a way to get content for all my channels, and from there it's taken off to the point where now you'll see FPV drones in almost any high-end action sports video now. It's really crazy how far it's come, and the opportunities it's created for the people who were passionate about it at the right time.
Do you think that since you shook so many hands and talked to so many people during your, career as a off-road racer, that it's helped you be at the top level of the FPV stuff in the off-road industry?
Oh, hugely, man. I owe it all to, the relationships that I've built and the friends that I've made. It's really, it's something that I think as I get older, I just realize more and more how important all the relationships are. And I really cherish the opportunities to learn from people with new insight. So it's the more people you meet, the larger your network gets, and it all feeds from there. But it's cool that it was able to be so symbiotic with the off-road racing and the filming, and even working at UTV Underground and at times the engineering. It's I sort of let my overlap of skills, that Venn diagram, has sort of dictated what I do, and it's kind of fun seeing where it goes.
It's cool though too. Like if you just hear, like, he's obviously being humble about it, but you don't get to a point where you get the call from a guy like Jeremy McCrath or whoever it is to be able to do that.
The best.
Well, not only if you're not the best, but
if they respect your hard work.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. And you have to be a good person to get that type of attention. Did you enjoy racing the drones while you were doing that?
I did. It's really a lot of fun. It's not as much fun as doing freestyle with it, though, and honestly, I have more fun filming motorsports than anything, because I think deep down I really just want to be on the track. So when I'm flying the drone, like, on the track with them, it really, like, scratches that itch.
Close enough.
But second to that, I think freestyle is the most fun, which is like when we go flip and flop around trees and do all kinds of goofy stuff, but it doesn't do so well on, like, mainstream people tend to get seasick when you watch too many, like, crazy moves or flip flops and all that.
Have you seen it, Casey, when they do that stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, it's nuts. Like, it's like trying to, like, not be a golfer and try to keep your eye on the golf ball times 100.
Yep. So Charlie Swenka's always doing stuff, like showing everybody his kind of
craziness.
Yeah, how you want to call it, like his homebrew sessions, right? He just goes out and goes, okay, we're gonna do that stuff around the trees and whatever, and he breaks them, and it's just cool. Exactly what you say. Like, that's more enjoyable to someone who doesn't understand it as much as watching the racing, just like you said.
Yeah, the racing becomes like it's just like you can barely even watch it. It's happening so fast.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, to be perfectly frank, I could never compete with some of the 11-year-olds that are winning a lot now. Like the younger kids are insane. The reflexes are crazy.
Right.
It's going to be like esports where people peak before they can drink.
That is pretty crazy to think about that, though, right? It's like a totally different genre of sport.
Dude, it really is. And I guess coming from a motorsports background, I don't know what it was, maybe, my immaturity or whatever, but I just didn't, like, really realize that it could be a sport, sport. It's not as much of an athletic sport, but it could have that much of a following. And I remember a good friend of mine from the UK, Luke Bannister, when we were in Dubai at that race, he won it, and his prize was $1 million. And I was just like, wow.
Holy
this
crap,
is toy
helicopters.
Really? Yeah. Like, I never got anywhere close to that racing trucks, and I was just, it took so much more of myself to do. So it was really, it's interesting, like, another lesson on how the world works. It's like, sometimes you
taking
gotta go
120 hours to go drive 25 minutes and make $500. I think the most I ever won, like, winning a short course race, was like $500 or $1,000.
Or a bowling trophy.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that bowling trophy's got so much blood, sweat, and tears behind it.
I know, you can't throw it away, but you're like, I'm done with it. Yeah, I know what you.
Dude,
there you
I
go.
think there's some up there on the shelf behind me.
Right.
What do you like doing for your hobbies then?
What do I like doing now?
Yeah, like for your hobbies. Like, we just talked about bowling, so.
Honestly, over quarantine, I just picked up an RC car again for the first time in a minute.
What kind?
I've been having a lot of fun. No, it's a Traxxas Max, so it's a monster truck.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, I've just been trying to blow off steam with it. Like we jumped it onto the roof of the house the other day. We're gonna make a YouTube video out of that.
Nice.
It's fun, dude. Like they finally have monster trucks that you can just savagely try to destroy for at least 15 minutes, and they'll hold up.
Yep. Take it to the skate park.
That's fun. I was just telling Sara Price that I have a trip planned to California, but maybe I'll come out and I'll skip the bicycle riding and go like do the RC car with Jake.
Dude, I got 2, so I'm in.
Charge his at 20 amps.
Why? So I go slower?
No, faster.
Oh. I was gonna say you have to calm it down so that I don't crash it.
Dude, you guys remember matched battery packs?
Oh my gosh.
What's that?
So they would take each different cell.
Yeah.
And it would be like out of, we'll just say 1,000 cells. Mm-hmm. Each one has a different internal resistance, so they discharge at the same rate if they're matched.
Oh, okay.
If not, you've got some that are kind of fighting each other.
I got you.
So the normal guy who goes into the shop is just like, yeah, give me one of those. It's $30. It looks the same as the one that's 100.
Yeah, that's me.
Nowhere close.
So you see, you guys, your engineering backgrounds are like, and mechanical backgrounds are blowing me out of the. I'm going to be the slowest RC guy no matter what. I just been getting back into RC cars too. I wish there was a place that Casey could bring his RC cars out so he could get some laps in.
I know there's nothing in town anymore.
Yeah, I saw that. All the stuff in Tucson's closed down. It's a little sad.
Are there any RC car tracks open in San Diego area? Because I want to bring my RC car when I come out.
Yeah, there's SDRC.
Is it open with Corona though?
No, it's down in like Mira Mesa. It's near San Diego.
With the COVID-19, is it open?
I think he started running a couple races. I recently saw him posting about it, so I don't know. I don't know how it works with the capacity or anything, but I think he's definitely doing something.
Is that place pretty cool?
Yeah, I'm sure he's trying. He runs a good show.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, and his track's super cool. And
it is?
Yeah.
Dude, I want to get down there then.
We did a little for like a month or two. We had a series where we would go fly the tiny drones that we would fly around the house. We had a little racing series in the corner of his track room, so we would set up gates and race around, and it was kind of fun. He was really friendly and helpful to us.
Yeah, he's a good guy for sure.
They don't still do that there?
Yeah, do they?
No, they don't. They don't still do it. There's a couple little series, but honestly, I haven't been doing the tiny drones quite as much anymore. I need to. It would have been a good time during quarantine.
I still have another SC10, so I'll bring both of them, and you could drive that one, and we could battle.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah.
Probably waste me though. Yeah, that'll be fun. So so obviously you got into the drone stuff, and was it pretty easy to get into? Like, did you start like at the beginner level? Were you just like, all right, I'm going full tilt?
Oh man, it's a huge learning curve, or it particularly was back then, because back in those days the flight controllers were salvaged Wii accelerometers. It was called multi-Wii, and it was like 2 accelerometers from a Wii and then a whole bunch of custom coding, and from there it has improved quickly, and the people who start flying racing drones now, man, they're spoiled rotten. It's a lot easier. There's like some nice software, and it's easy to get it set up, so it's the learning curve was less in flying and more in setup and understanding how to configure small electronics, which honestly is probably some of the most practical learning I ever got from this.
I was going to say
hobby
another thing that just kind of falls into place, right?
Yep.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Like,
did you see yourself on the forefront of that because you were doing the engineering stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, some of the work that's been done in the open source communities for racing drones is really at the cutting edge of flight control software and of like sensor-based control systems. One of my old employers at Suspension Direct in Lake Elsinore, they build suspension internals and stuff like that, and they were working on one of the self-adjusting suspension systems for the Razor, and we ended up talking a lot about how we could hack together a drone flight controller to compensate for the shifts in the accelerometer as like the Razor goes over bumps and stuff. So it was just cool, like, to accidentally find yourself at the cutting edge of something like that. It was kind of,
dude,
especially just
super cool.
Yeah.
Did any of it ever work out?
We built like a little proof of concept, but it ended up being that the Arduino setup was like more realistic for what he was doing, just because we had to like trying to make the flight, because the flight controller is used to driving 4 motors and solenoids. We had a little bit of a problem with that signal crossover. So without getting too technical, it was more thought experiment than anything, but it was really really powerful.
Dude, you guys could probably talk for years on this.
Yeah,
like I don't understand what it is. So like, and our audience is probably having trouble understanding all that mechanical stuff too. I couldn't.
It's like that video where it's like the mechanical discombobulator and the flux transistor.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, that is super cool though, because it kind of goes along with our theme that we were talking about changing it up. Like, so every single step of the way, he's had to change it up, right? Because he has to learn how to work on it. He has to figure out how to adjust the software. He's not using the same one anymore. Right. Like, so it's pretty cool that he's been able to be so. I don't know, so flexible during the whole process, right?
So basically fluid the whole way through, right?
Yeah, man. I get bored easily, so you got to keep it interesting, and then try and find ways to make the interesting stuff pay a little bit.
So what was the next step then? You wanted to start your online store and get into the drone content, or what? Yeah,
I mean, honestly, there was a little span of time, maybe 6 months to a year, where I was racing drones full time, and it was cool. I had sponsors and where they were flying all over the U.S. and racing, and the drone nationals. The first one was in 2015, and the second one was in New York on Governor's Island, and that was huge. Like, it was sponsored by AIG and a couple other financial organizations. Yeah, it was really trippy. Honestly, I can't imagine a worse place for an event though. Like, picture this, just like me trying to carry backpacks and Pelican cases and all that stuff, and you can't get a vehicle onto Governor's Island.
No kidding.
And it's like 2 miles from the ferry part to where you get to the actual racetrack. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, that does.
It was cool because we were racing in the shadow of the Statue of Liberty.
Well, that's part of it was pretty cool, and I bet you there was some really cool selfies.
Oh yeah, totally, dude, totally.
So,
and I mean, the Dubai selfies were fire.
That's what I was gonna say. Sure. Those are probably awesome. So, obviously, when you go to race these drones and stuff, you're learning a lot and you're doing all this stuff. But where did the idea to even come up with like filming these things start?
Man, I guess the kickoff for the action sports side of things came. Like I had said, I had filmed my old buddy Mark Patridge. He used to race UTVs, and at the time he was running a Pro Light. And I went and filmed him just for fun, just sort of like, hey man, these racing drones are kind of crazy. Like, maybe we could get some angles. And after that, I started talking to one of my sponsors for racing drones at the time, and we got really excited about the possibilities. And we ended up sort of breaking into to Lake Elsinore.
Oh, really?
They had on a day that the track was rented privately.
You found your way in there. And that was when I met.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, we kind of just snuck in through the fence, and that was the day that I got to meet the McCrath Motorsports team for the first time, and they were all really gracious. All the guys over there are so cool, man. They're like a family and really someone, an organizational structure to look up to. But they were super cool. We got to meet them and Adrian Cheney and Patrick Clark, and that video was like the first video I ever did that sort of went like halfway viral. I think it got like 20,000 views. And for me at the time, I was like, oh my God, like, that's so cool. And, from there, it's just been anything action sports I can film, we've been trying to do. And the company's come about. Now I have a partner who works with me on most things. And we have a couple pilots that we bring in for events where if we need to be in 2 places at once, or some of the events, we even run multiple drones at a time to get a cool perspective. We've been doing that with the Hoonigans a lot for the Burnyard event.
How did they receive it when you found your way into Lake Elsinore, when you were just like, hey, can I film it? Or like, what was the...
It was a little bit like, it was a little weird at first, because it was like a whole bunch of dudes with their toy helicopters were like, hey, is it cool if we chase you guys? But it was sort of like, if you're down to share the footage, and as long as you don't fly in through the window, then we're good. And the footage that came out of that has really been one of the biggest catalysts to opening doors, and it was a good lesson that sometimes you really have to put yourself out there first, and sometimes you have to do it for months before you get the first bite. But
that's what I was just going to say.
One powerful capture can do a lot for you.
So awesome.
Yeah, that is really cool. And for them to like, because imagine you're a professional guy and you're out on a test day. a test day is usually testing things that you don't want anybody else to see, right? And these, we'll call them kids, come up with their filming, and they're like, "Hey, can we film you?" Like, no, dude. Like, like that's what you would expect, but that's why he has so much respect for these guys like McGrath and stuff, is because they gave him the opportunity.
And you got to give them credit for being so forward thinking.
Yeah, totally.
They're constantly, I mean, of the clients I've ever worked with, there's some of the people who it's always, what can we do that's never been done, and how can we push the envelope? And I think that's probably a big part of how someone like that is able to stay on top for so long.
Wow, that is a good point.
Jake's like, well, what we haven't done is the pilot drives the race car. He's like, that's not been done.
He's like, or sitting in, like, if they have a 2-seater and he gets to sit in the passenger and follow with the drone.
That would be pretty cool.
Oh man, it's so trippy trying to fly with the goggles. These are the goggles.
Right.
So like trying to fly with the goggles, you can't see anything, and
you're moving.
We do. For the trophy truck stuff, we usually have to have a chase car. So I'll drive, on a closed course with all the proper precautions, obviously. I'll ride in the passenger seat while my partner Tommy will drive the truck, and we'll go, up to 80, 100 miles an hour trying to chase some of these trophy trucks down. And it's definitely trippy. You get like it's hard not to react to the bumps in the road with the drone.
Especially when you're used to being a racer, because like you use your senses different, right?
Well, yeah, so check it out. You take the eyeballs out, right?
Yeah.
And his eyeballs are now on the flying machine.
Right.
Yet he's feeling
talk about an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, but he's feeling what the truck is doing, and he's not connected to it with his visual.
That's so weird.
It's gotta be so weird. Totally.
It's definitely trippy.
Nice.
It's definitely trippy, but it's super cool. We got some really good shots that way. The trophy truck stuff is always rad. It's tough though. The batteries, man, you get like one pass. Like you get one pass at 100 miles an hour, and then it's done. You got to change batteries.
Because you're so pinned in the drone.
Yeah. It's really the limiting factor for all things drone right now is weight / battery tech.
Sure. So you got to be good at it because you only get one shot, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny too, like the range of, some people are down to do the stunt over and over and over again until you get it right, but other people are like, no, we did this one, let's go. Like, you're working around our test day.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. We've done video shoots like that too, where the guy's like, hey, we got to get one more shot. No, I'm hungry, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm done. You know what this race fuel costs? We're done.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, dude.
Yeah. Well, man, that's nothing compared to, we did a rap video shoot. And it was like all the talent showed up 3 hours late, and then we had to wait while they rolled joints. It was just like, it was
Holy
such
cow.
a weird. It was like, no, this is just how it happens. They might not even show up, and if they don't, we'll have to come back tomorrow. It's just like, wow. Okay,
that's standard operating procedure. You just wait.
Seriously, man. I was like, I get paid the day rate either way, so I'm down to hang out. But it's an eye opener how some of the entertainment industry works.
Jake's like, take me back to Offroad.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean,
well, it was
kind of love to do it.
It was kind of off-road at that video shoot. Oh, it does?
Yeah. I mean, the music video stuff, I mean, no, I'm grateful for any work I get ever, but in general, they have a little bit bigger budget.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's pretty cool. Have you done anything cool like well, Sara Price was on, so like she talks about stunt driving and stuff like that, and she did a movie called Jumanji and things like that. Have you ever gotten any crossover like that where you can get into real mainstream stuff, not just music?
Yeah, I haven't done any like feature films yet. I'm still trying. I'm working a couple channels for that right now. Actually, through I think probably a gentleman who knows Sara Price a little bit too, because I think he ran all the stunts for Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, cool.
But the biggest thing we did probably would be a Volkswagen commercial. I don't think it's aired yet, but it was the Fast Lab with Tanner Faust, and we had racing drones versus the Volkswagen Golf, and then towards the end of the day, it was pretty trippy. They had us just crash drones into the back windshield of the Golf like 4 or 5 times. It was
really?
just such a mess. Yeah, they wanted the shot of the drones bouncing off of it.
That's funny.
But
that's kind of cool though, because you could imagine what they're going to use it for to make the Volkswagen win or something.
Totally.
You know?
You're like, you got a credit card, right on. Right.
Yeah. That was another testament too for being prepared for anything, because we got hired on that shoot just to do racing drone stuff, but the company that was doing the larger cameras, they crashed both of their drones and ended up having to borrow our large cinema drone, our Inspire 2. So it was like, man, that job ended up going really well. But
oh yeah, because they have to borrow it, pay for it, and then they use it and crash it or whatever they have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
but,
that's nuts, man.
Yeah, that was really cool. The music videos that I've done have both been really cool. One of the ones was for Tyga, Chief Keef. Like, I don't know if you guys know about all the hippity hop these days, but we were up in the canyons in Malibu, and we were shutting down the road and throwing fake money and making it rain and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like goofy stuff. And honestly, probably the craziest thing that has ever happened to me was a music video shoot in Harlem, New York. We got robbed during the shoot.
What?
And,
no way.
Yeah, dude, it was really messed up. Like it was like a 13-year-old kid, and he came up with a gun, and he looked like he was shaking. Like he didn't come up to my chest, and he's holding the gun like inches away, and his hand shaking. And they stole all the camera equipment, all the drones, my backpack with hard drives in it, like got everything. And it was trippy. I mean, we got to go to the police precinct in New York. It was like, this is like 2017, probably 2018.
That's nuts.
All of the detectives chain smoking inside, like it's an old detective movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was so weird.
Nice.
So weird. And all the detectives were like, what the hell are you doing in Harlem?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Exactly.
What are you doing in Harlem?
That's such a crazy story, though. Could you imagine having that happen, like standing there, like especially us, because we're all three of us are like so nonchalant about stuff, and all of a sudden this little kid comes and does that?
Crazy.
It was really eye-opening, and I mean, speaking of the climate we're in right now, it was eye-opening to realize how some people are willing to do stuff like that just to get by, and the situations that people are living in. Like, you can't hate the kid. He had no idea what he's doing, but it was sketchy. And the craziest thing about it was, I think they tried to ransom all the stuff back to the label. I don't want to get too specific or anything.
Oh,
I don't know if
that sounds bad. Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know exactly what happened, but
did you get your stuff?
Suffice it to say that 4 months later, I got my drone back in the mail, and I was never able to get any explanation of how it happened or why, or
here you go.
What happened. And the video came out, so I don't.
Okay, enough said.
That's nuts, though. Like, that's such a crazy story. You would never ever think something like that would happen.
And it's the craziest adventures that, like, you have no idea you were in for. But I'm really grateful to have that story. At the time, it wasn't that much fun because they stole my phone and my wallet and all that. But
dude, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just put it. It might be one of the clips that we use. I just wrote it down in the notes. So it's a crazy enough story to have like as a clip. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Well, so do you have any other crazy stories that we can talk about, like through all this filming? Because it sounds like there's a lot of stuff that people don't know that you've done, because we've seen some of the stuff that you've done. Like, I obviously know about the McCrath one that you did, our Area 52 with RJ Anderson and his brother. You could let me in on some of the stuff that was cool that I don't know about or Casey doesn't know about.
Yeah, both of those are a couple of the highlights. We got to do. We worked for SEMA this past year. I don't know what's happening with SEMA this year in light of everything.
I hear it's still going on, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're still like tentative, but we're our portion of it is up in the air a little bit still.
Okay. If we both make it up there, let's go eat.
Dude, I'm all about it. But we got to film at their exhibitions, and that was one of the craziest experiences I've ever had, just in terms of like, man, do I have enough insurance for this?
Why? What do you mean?
Well, we were filming all the Hoonigan Burnyard stuff, and there's thousands of people gathered around, and then we were filming the SEMA Ignite stuff, where it had Formula Drift and Nitro Circus and all that stuff, and it was just, crowds packed up, and it was really, from an engineering perspective, or I guess just like a RF radio frequency perspective, there's no place worse in the whole world than downtown Las Vegas. So it was really tough troubleshooting the minor like radio issues we'd have that come up, and then trying to regain my confidence and like, I don't want to lose my radio link while I'm going 80, and then there's a full crowd of people. So there was a lot of coordination and logistics there, and I was really grateful for our team at Believe Cam. We had a couple great guys, Tommy and our other pilots, Johnny, and everybody's great.
Dang, that's pretty cool. Could you imagine that, though? And for people that don't know what Jake's talking about, the radio frequency, there's a wireless frequency between the remote and the vehicle or the plane that you're driving and the helicopter.
Yeah, and our big problem was there was a light truck that happened to be somehow on the same frequency as my control, which normally is good for like 15 miles. But anytime I flew past the light truck, I would drop out of the air.
Oh, no.
It was just like, oh man, how are we going to work on this?
Serious. Wow.
Yeah, and stuff that can interrupt that, like, because usually it's 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, right? And so anything, a microwave, if somebody turns on a microwave, it can interrupt that signal.
Definitely, it's that was one I've implemented new safety procedures since then to limit more exposure.
Changing it up again, man.
Good, yeah, good.
That's pretty cool.
Rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
Dang, those are some pretty crazy stories, though. And so what's been on the roster these like lately? Have you been selling drone stuff? And well, actually, how can people buy the drone stuff?
Oh yeah, our website for the parts is stayupfpv.com. Stay up, like the slang for stay happy and stay good. We sell all the parts, build them, and we have like a couple beginner kits where you can get everything you need to go, like start flying one of the little ones around your house.
So one of our audience members has been really chomping at the bit to learn more about this drone stuff. His name's Alfonso, so he should go to stayupfpv.com and check it out.
Absolutely, yeah, and I really recommend either starting with something small, like what I used to post all those videos of, because when you have something lightweight, it doesn't have the momentum to break itself.
Right.
So you can crash it a lot more.
Or your pictures, or your TV, or your...
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So
dude, if you... Go ahead.
If anybody has questions about any of this stuff, do you have time to answer any questions? Like if they hit you up on social media?
Absolutely, man. Feel free to slide into the DM, on my personal page or Believe Cam or Stay Up. I have, people that help me with Stay Up for, order-based questions and like little stuff that I can't handle. So anywhere you hit us up, you should get answered. And we really love to help people get into it because it's really fun. Like once you get the hang of it, like you get over that first little hump, then it feels like you're flying a fighter jet, and it's just so much fun.
Do you think you'd do pretty good flying one of those cases, or no?
No.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So everybody's dreamt of flying, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the disconnect, though? Because, like, I can't do it, and that's just because, like, I've never had that sensitive of hand-eye coordination. But what's the disconnect with somebody like you that is really good with RC cars and, like, dirt and off-road and stuff, but not being able to do the drone?
Unfortunately, it's the age thing. It's the age thing. I still have great reflexes, but it's the age thing and the muscle memory of exactly what to do with a car, with surface. Now you're throwing, 2 extra axes?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can do it, but nowhere near like that. These guys, it's second nature.
Yeah.
So now it becomes something else has to be second nature, yeah.
And it's just like anything. It only becomes second nature because of the hours you put in. It was, for the first 3 or 4 years that I was doing it, I would fly every day for hours.
There you go.
And I'm grateful to have been in a position to do that. I was able, we live in like Southern California and Arizona, like the weather's always good. I can usually go fly after work when I was working. So, but really there are kids who start and then in 3 months they're really good because they just wake up and fly all day, every day. It's
That's like us back in the day being professional Excite bike drivers.
Oh, totally. I still own that. These kids, I'm not kidding you. These kids still think, oh yeah, Excite bike. They have nothing. They have no idea how to do the front wheel bounce, and you can do the whole level
turbo
in like 14 seconds. Sorry.
Dude, I still think we should have a Mario Kart like challenge one weekend one time. Like have an old school video game. What if we did like Excite bike? Ivan Stewart's Off-Road and Mario Kart all in one
Triple
weekend
Crown.
tournament. Yeah,
Triple
Crown tournament.
Love
that would be beautiful.
Dude,
we'll sponsor a drone starter kit for that when you do it.
Hell yeah. Nice. That would be pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
Well, the reason I asked about the drone stuff is because with all the content that I've been putting out lately with just the Dirt Life show, I obviously want to work with you one of these days, but we're not at the level to do that just yet. But it would be pretty cool for some of our audience members that have reached out to me talking about video stuff to be able to have another resource, too, that's above my level.
Absolutely, man. It's the community is what it's all about, and it's really fun to meet people who are into it and to get to introduce people to it because it's a lot of like I said about the flying thing. It's really once you get that sense of freedom I find that the hook is set pretty firmly for most people.
Yeah.
Is that where you get some of the most enjoyment out of it? Like you talked about, like being like around the same camaraderie in the off-road industry and stuff, but if you're not driving the truck and you're driving the drone, does it give you the same sense of I don't know, reaction and gratefulness?
It's pretty close, man. I think anybody who's ever like worked with me or around me at some of these events can attest that when I pull the goggles up after I land, I just have the biggest grin on my face. I can't even control it. I'm like, man, I need to not look like I'm having so much fun or they won't want to pay me. But it's really
that's funny.
It's really a blast.
How gnarly is it? Like when you get done though, are you like, is your brain like everything drained? Or are you like, woof, man, that was a good one?
I bet.
Yeah, man, definitely depending on like what we're filming, like some of the stuff like the Hoonigan Burnyard stuff, it's a really small area and the car's drifting constantly, so you're always moving in weird directions and axes and spinning and doing crazy stuff. So sometimes when you land out of there, you just got to like shake your hands off and take some deep breaths. It's like you almost get arm pump when your little fingers.
I bet.
That is pretty cool. Totally. Do you ever get to well, you're dealing with like Brian Scotto and now Ashley too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ashley's always been helpful to me, so tell her I said hello next time you see her.
That's awesome. I haven't had the privilege to work with Ashley too much, but I met her at one event.
Yeah, she's.
They're really cool over there. It's always nice because Scotto's like another huge dude. We can look each other in the eye.
he can't actually get to a little razor either.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on. Well, it's pretty cool that you get to do all this fun stuff, man. And so now, like more on a personal level, now I think you still have the same girlfriend, right?
Yeah. I still have the same girlfriend. We've been together for 4 or 5 years. Kind of a lot, maybe. I think 5 for sure. It's been a crazy road. Halfway into our relationship, she had some health problems that were really gnarly, and it was a sobering look at how real life can get really real really quick. So gratefully she had a cancer scare, and gratefully she's all done with that now, and
it's a
she's
perspective
2 or 3
changer
years
though, right?
Yeah, man, it's really sobering. It's really sobering is the only word I have for it. It makes you, that, and anytime you have something big in your life or with someone that you love, it definitely helps you put things into perspective. I remember, like my house burned down, and ever since then, I just don't really care that much about material possessions, because it sort of is like, it proves to you that you can reset from complete zero.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what life can do to you. I remember she was so nice when we got to go out and eat pizza with you, Brian Lopez, and myself, when we got to meet you in California and do that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, that was good times.
Yeah, and she was awesome.
I want to get back to the track.
I remember Brian and I both leaving going, dang, dude, Jake finally got himself a good one. That's awesome. Like, we're stoked for him.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, so we were pumped.
Cool.
We were pumped for you, dude. Obviously you're still supported by your parents and stuff. Do you get to see them very much?
Yeah, they just came out to visit and stayed with us for almost a week. It was really cool. I hadn't seen them for a long time since the quarantine stuff's been going on, so it was really it's just nice to spend a little bit of time with them and kick it and watch TV, and just like, my dad's retired now, so he's got time to go to Harbor Freight with me and pick out some single-use tools and all that kind of stuff.
Single-use tools?
That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah, that is the perfect way to put it.
That might be another clip.
Yep.
Let's go to Harbor Freight, get some single-use tools. I love it.
That is a pretty good one.
Some gyms.
Yeah. So what's you been doing lately? Like, you're living in Oceanside now, right, still?
Yeah, I'm up in Oceanside. It's beautiful here. I'm, really grateful to be here. Lately, I've been doing a little bit of work with Lucas Oil Production Studios for I guess they run the MAV TV channel. Right. So I've been working with them on a couple different TV shows and doing some more on-road racing stuff, which is definitely cool. It's nice to change it up a little bit. I haven't done a lot of road racing, or I've done a lot of drift and I've done a lot of off-road, but the strict road racing is a new thing for me, and it's cool getting to learn how those cars move and finding new angles to film them.
Yeah, and meet new people. That's really, really cool.
And the best part about it is you don't have to buy tires.
Yeah, absolutely. And they gotta have a little bit of finesse though, because those cars are hitting like 180 on the backstretch when we were out at Willow Springs. And it's like the FAA limits us to 100 miles per hour ground speed. So you gotta make it. You gotta keep plausible deniability. You gotta get creative with it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, even to get a drone to go that fast, Jake's not doing that, of course. But even to get a drone to go that fast has got to be a work of art in itself.
For sure.
It's really interesting, and it's funny how it becomes just throwing more battery at it, so you can run it out longer. It's like the battery is bigger than the drone that I run for the road racing stuff.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Well, you kind of told everybody how to get in contact with you and stuff. We're going to go through a rapid fire Q&A, but do you have anybody else that you want to mention before we get into the rapid fire Q&A? Because I know that you obviously have your business partners and people that help you out.
Yeah, man. I gotta give it up to Tommy. He's my main partner in Believe Cam, and he's always there helping out. Like, I could definitely not do it without him. He's incredible, and he does everything from put parts on the race cars to help me with the drones. So anybody who hires us gets a whole lot of value out of him.
Yeah, skill set to the end. That's pretty sweet, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had my friend George Scott, or Scott G is how he goes by, but he's been instrumental in introducing me to a lot of the players in the off-road industry and helping me get my name out there and sort of make the connections, especially in its infancy with this drone stuff. It's hard because you say, can I come do drone footage for you, even if it's for free? And everybody thinks about a Phantom or like that white drone that everybody has, and they're like, nah, man, like my cousin can do that, or my little brother does that for free.
No, not like
so
this.
It's like, yeah, the biggest hurdle has been just sort of getting people to take that first look at it, and then from there, knock on wood, they'll be interested. But that's a big part of it. So Scott G was really instrumental in opening a lot of those doors for me. You got to thank him. Obviously, my parents, my girlfriend for all their support, and all of my fun friends. And Joey D was a huge inspiration for me too. Just seeing what he's been able to put together, basically by putting the team on his back. He created UTV Underground from the ground up, and it's really inspirational to see where he's at now. Definitely look up to that dude.
Yeah, a lot of people do. It's pretty cool that you have all that support mechanism, though, too. It's neat to see where all this stuff has gone. I definitely can attest to that. Well, Casey can, too, is like when you have to break through and like you said, people think that everybody has that white drone and their cousin can do it. The same goes for the career that I have had for, the last 20 years with website design and stuff, too. No, my brother can build me a website. It's a lot different when you're on a professional level, right? And you're doing things in a whole higher level, and people don't understand that stuff. So being able to break through that, dude, and understand that stuff, like with those support mechanisms that you've had, and the I don't want to call it drive, willpower to keep pushing through that. It takes a lot, dude. It takes a lot to be able to get to the level that you're at. So kudos to you for doing all that, man.
Oh, thanks, man. You're giving me too much credit. It's mostly being stubborn, but otherwise,
I don't know. All of us have built a lot out of being stubborn and naive, right?
It happens.
Absolutely, man. You just gotta keep pushing.
Aaron Browning just commented in. You forgot about your sister, dude. She's been in Oceanside for a grip,
I
man.
gotta thank my sister, man. And honestly, she's not wrong. Their business, they own a restaurant in Oceanside called the Flying Pig, and they have another location in Vista. But their entrepreneurship and the way that they have been able to succeed with a good idea was really inspirational to me, and was sort of a framework that I got to see right before I graduated and sort of went into the world. And it was like, oh, wow, you really can do it if you take something that you know really well and that you love and you just do it well. You can succeed, and it's not, it's easy to feel like the deck is stacked sometimes, so it's good to have those little beacons of hope.
Dude, yeah, for sure. And I can attest to what Jake's saying, because I've had conversations with him in the past about how his sisters help, but dude, I still want to go there and eat.
Dude, anytime. We'll have a good little
Maybe that's where we should go. Instead of finding a restaurant down in like Solana Beach or whatever, we'll go up and hang out with her instead. Maybe we'll go up to Vista and stuff like when it come out. That'd be pretty cool. Is she open right now or no?
Yeah, they're. I think both restaurants are open for dine-in now. Finally.
Oh, dang! They're doing dine-in too, huh?
Yeah, it's a reduced capacity, and I think you have to wear a mask anytime you're not seated. So it's kind of like, some people really hate that, and some people can deal with it. It's just a whole. It's weird times right now, man. I don't think anybody wants to hear the word mask ever again.
Dude, for real, right? Kidding. Except for the people that manufacture them. They just like totally hit the jackpot.
Totally.
All right, so well, first of all, thank you very much for doing all this stuff with us, man. It was super cool, and like there was so many stories in there that I had no idea about, and we've been good friends for a long time. I think Casey can attest to this. Like hearing the background of like all of that fun stuff and like just the learning curve and everything. Like how awesome is it, dude?
So cool.
All right,
I love the background stuff.
Yeah,
it's always the
fun.
best.
I'm really grateful to get a chance to talk it out with you guys because it's fun looking back, and sometimes a lot of driven people, a lot of people that like racing are always focused on just pushing forward. So you don't get that many opportunities to sort of introspect and think about how you got there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what do you think about like what we're doing then? Like, do you think it's cool that we get to like hash out? Because like I just said, like for me, like I've known you for a long time and you've helped me with a bunch of stuff. But to be able to hear all this stuff that I didn't know about, like I feel like it's really cool for the dirt life to have that.
Dude, absolutely, it's amazing, and it's cool. Like one of my favorite things in the world, I feel like, is getting to talk to somebody. Like everybody has that one thing that they're really into and maybe borderline obsessed with, or they know that one thing better than anybody else.
Right.
Even if it's Magic the Gathering or something ridiculous, like talking to a person about that one thing that they know and they love, it's like infectious. Their passion for it, and you get to learn so much about it. So I can only imagine like that's got to be one of the coolest parts of doing a podcast like you guys have is getting to touch base with so many passionate people and get inspired by their passion.
Dude, it is. It's so cool. Like Casey and I talk about it, and we don't get to like say it enough, like about our guests, but we talk about it after every single show. We're like, dude, holy crap! Like, oh my, like, and it goes on for a week after, right, until the next show. It's like
it just changed my day. Like I almost wish it were Sunday.
Yeah.
So Monday would be
You're all
great.
amped?
Yeah. But it's already like, hey, Monday. That means we're gonna talk to somebody awesome.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a. And how about this? I haven't said this.
Our case of the Mondays is different now.
It is. It totally is. And I actually use that as a positive for sure. But I haven't said this, but it would resonate, I think, with probably all of the guests that we've had. For you, for sure, when I say it, I know you are. But that old saying, enjoy what you do or love what you do, and you'll never work a day in your life, right? And I know you're living that right now. You have to be. All these stories of...
Absolutely.
Well, he's still busting ass, though.
Oh, no, absolutely. But... he loves doing it.
Yeah.
And the days probably go by like this. And
you have to love it enough that you won't hate it even when it becomes work.
Or when you get stuck up by a 13-year-old for your stuff.
Seriously, dude. Seriously.
Oh, held up, yeah, by a 13-year-old gangster.
Yeah.
Gangster in the making.
Yeah. Oh, what a bummer.
All right, let's just start shredding on these rapid-fire Q&A questions. I'll go first. iRacing or real racing?
Oh man, definitely real racing. It's like you can't put iRacing on top, but it's been cool seeing it sort of take off in the COVID times. I would love to get a simulator set up. Oh man, it looks like fun.
So even if it's not simulator, let's talk about like reality racing versus virtual reality racing. Jake tried to do both at the same time when he's filming and trying to catch those people and do it both at the same time, and he still likes real racing better.
Okay, so I don't know if you follow Supercross or not, which it's over now, but Barsha or Webb? These are profiling questions, just so you know.
Barsha or Webb?
Yes.
Oh, man. I don't know Webb that well for his personality, so I probably would go Barsha. I kind of like the barge in and make it happen style.
Bam, bam, there you go. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Dude, he's bam-bamming it into the drone world, right?
Bam, bam, Barsha,
Hey,
baby.
was there any bam-bams that were in the drone racing?
Oh, dude, it's one of the most heartbreaking things about drone racing is that, like, the camera is tilted. You figure the drone's going through the air like this, and the camera's tilted like this so you can see forward, right? You can't see on either side of you. So you'd have mid-air collisions in the biggest race of your life where you never saw what happened or who hit you, and you just both go down.
Oh, so everybody is a bam-bam in drone racing then.
Sounds like
it was one of those things where it was like... one of the inherent problems with it.
Well,
definitely.
So this question, I feel like we're going to have some similarities because you grew up in the same town as us. But favorite food?
And your sister's listening.
Favorite food.
Yeah, and your sister's listening.
Anything from the Flying Pig.
There you go.
No. Their hamburger, though, low key, is probably my favorite burger of all time. We still go down there like at least once every couple weeks and get it. It's they got blue cheese and all that good stuff on it. It's delicious.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I'm kind of a sucker for pizza. I know that's like the lamest answer ever, but I have beans and tortillas with like 3 or 4 meals a week. Definitely, I'm holding it down for the Southern Arizona.
Do you ever
vibe.
miss like Sonoran dogs or anything?
Oh, I definitely miss Sonoran dogs. I haven't had a good one in California ever. I don't know if you can get them or what the vibe is. Honestly though.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Baja tacos from the Baja Peninsula. That's got to be it. Like once you have that, it's like I can taste it right now.
So don't they have a lame version of Baja hot dogs? And it's not the same.
No, it's still not the same.
It's not even close because Sonoran dogs are Sonoran dogs.
I haven't been
into story.
Yeah, there's a specific combination.
But I'm almost positive that there is a Baja.
I don't know though, because like what Jake's saying about the tacos from like the Baja, like Ensenada or somewhere like that, you still can't even get those here.
Agreed.
Like it's completely different. Like
so
I don't know.
My point is that those tacos rule there, and our dogs rule.
Yeah.
Here. So
yeah. Next time Jake comes to visit his family, he's gonna have to get a Sonoran dog.
Yeah.
Sonoran dogs and an EG's.
There you go.
Ooh, dude, that'd be a pretty good like EG slushy with Sonoran dogs, and then ranch fries on the side.
That'd be fantastic.
Oh, ranch fries! I totally forgot.
Okay, so Little Smokies or pizza rolls?
Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls, yep.
All day. And usually overcook them until they explode all over the plate.
Dude, it always happens every time, right?
Perfect. And then they're crispy.
Yeah, and then they're crispy on the side. Favorite soda?
Oh God, I hate to answer this way, but I drink way too much Diet Pepsi. I'm trying to cut it out. Actually,
you're not trying to go Diet Dr. Pepper?
You know, I really like regular Dr. Pepper. I can't do the diet for some reason. I don't like the taste for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Classic Dr. Pepper. It's the best.
Yeah, it really
Classic.
is.
Oh, and Baja Blast, dude. Mountain Dew Baja Blast from Taco Bell when I'm feeling
that's
real
pretty
trashy.
genius, actually, when I'm feeling trash.
What's the next one? Is it me or is it you?
Uggs or Crocs? I don't like that. I feel dirty asking that question.
Uggs or Crocs?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess
Dude,
Crocs.
So I've been saying it all week. And honestly, I feel like I'm kind of like saying a bad word when I say it, because Drake and Rhonda last week, they called them Jerusalem Cruisers.
They did.
So they called Crocs Jerusalem Cruisers, and I've been like, I just saying it all week because I think it's hilarious, but I feel bad every time I say it.
Like in today's political climate, George, that's a little problematic.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's the reason I feel so bad, is because I feel like I'm saying something wrong, but I can't stop fucking laughing about it.
Jake, you need to run for the mayor or something.
I know.
So well spoken.
All right.
He did say Crocs. Is it 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive?
Yeah, 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive.
On the Crocs.
I mean, if you've got the power, I'm going to go 4 all day long. But
no, we're talking about on the Crocs.
On your Crocs.
Oh, God, probably 2. I don't like to get down on hands and knees, bro.
Okay. Well, this one's actually a really good question for Jake because he's done so many different forms of it. What's your most memorable race?
Oh, man.
Because, dude, this could be side-by-sides. This could be drones. This could be RC.
I think, yeah, that's tough. I have like a really fond memory of a Hobby Wing race, or sorry, Hobby Town. Sorry, not Hobby Wing. When you mentioned Charlie earlier, it got me thinking of Hobby Wing, I guess. But a Hobby Town race, the Desert Southwest State Championships or something. That one's up there in my mind for some reason. It was like 2-wheel drive stock buggy, and I got second, and I felt really accomplished about that. That's gonna take my childhood slot. And then looking forward, probably the Lucas Regional Shootout in the Superlight, because I was really getting getting the hang of that car there and like comfortable keeping it in the power band. And then it bit me a little bit because
that power band is like 100 RPMs though. It's like 9,000 RPMs and 9,100. That's like it. Like
you chart it.
It's
like
so
this.
weird because you talk to the kids who are like I remember it was like Gavin Harlan and. Cody Raiders didn't race at the same time as me, but he also did it. But it's like the younger kids who are doing really, really good. They're almost blowing the engine out of this thing, and you have the engine guys like yelling at them afterwards. But that's what it takes to win. You just got to rev it to the moon.
Yep, they were like, Aaron Browning says, "Dude, sausage deli."
Oh damn!
It's not bad.
Yeah, sausage deli.
It's not bad at all.
Bringing up all the Tucson ones, man.
I don't have a good sausage deli equivalent out here either, man. I can't get sandwiches that good.
There's a really good place that's in Encinitas. That's it's right on Leucadia and the Coast Highway. There's a sandwich shop right there. It's insane good.
All right.
It's right across from that It's right across from the 7-Eleven, across from the railroad tracks, or over the railroad.
Okay,
tracks.
I was picturing right that spot. I'll have to check it out.
I forgot what the name of it is, but it's like super hole in the wall.
Is it Moto Deli?
I don't know. It's super hole in the wall. Dude, last time I went there was like 5 years ago, but it's mind blowing.
Yeah. We're getting in the weeds here.
All right, favorite flavor of ice cream? Oh, did I skip?
Cookies and cream all day, every day.
Sorry, you can go next.
Ski or snowboard? It's all good.
All I've ever done is snowboard, and I'll be frank, I wasn't like great at it.
But you'd say snowboard over ski. Me too. Even though I've done neither.
I'm a little heavy for anything where you have low friction.
Got it.
I'm going snowboard too. Yeah. Is it my turn? Dogs or cats?
I mean, I love animals so much. I mean, if I could figure out how to race them, I'd probably be like a zoologist or something. I'm gonna have to go dogs, man. I've always had a dog, a best friend, my ride or die. So when I lived alone in college for a couple of years, I got a puppy, and he's still with me now. His name's Camber.
Nice.
That's pretty good, right?
Perfect.
Yeah, he's the main homie.
Netflix or YouTube? Being that he's a content guy.
I don't know, man. He might like Netflix and chill.
He might. Maybe he wants
to. That's tough.
Maybe he wants to watch Tombstone.
Yeah.
I want to say YouTube, but if I'm honest, I probably end up watching more Netflix. I'm trying to work on streaming YouTube as most of the content that I watch, just because I feel like there's so much more value in it, especially when you're watching people who you might know or people who you're really interested in, following their passion and stuff, versus like some really produced stuff.
Right.
But I feel like he could have his own Netflix special on the evolution of the drone, just the drone industry.
Totally. Get on it. Get started.
You hear that, Netflix? You hear that?
Wait, who did you say was helping you with your content, that was getting you out there with all the people, like getting the opening doors for you?
Oh, George, yeah, Scott G, man.
All right, Scott G, dude, work it out. Hey, why don't you give me a buzz too?
Dan McGranahan, I think, is my agent too. So we need to talk to him.
Perfect. Well, let's get both those to get in contact with us, and I'll help you with the Netflix and the content production. We'll get it all dialed, dude. We'll be good.
EGs.
And EGs, yeah.
Oh, and EGs.
Burrito or taco?
Both.
Can I have both, man? Come on.
Yeah,
I guess I'm gonna go taco. I can't think of anything but Baja tacos right now, and there's just really nothing like it.
Well, you'd be the first person to answer both, but yeah. That's good. What's the next one?
Supercross or motocross?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I don't know.
Especially with Supercross just ending.
I know. Because I'm a super fan, but I completely understand what it takes. Motocross, Supercross is still absolutely, at the high, but motocross. And I'm having a hard time right now because we just finished. So.
Yeah. I feel like motocross is right now. I'd answer motocross.
Oh, man. That's tough, dude. I'm going to say Supercross until I get to film it. I'm trying to butter up Feld right now.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. Keep that butter coming, dude. I want you to film it too. So.
Beautiful.
What other forms of racing would you like to try?
This was the one you put in the bank.
Yep.
Ooh. So, since filming a lot of drifting, honestly, I think drifting looks like so much fun.
Really?
It's really, yeah. It kind of hits that same, like when you throw it into a corner in short course and you hit that that point where all your tires are spinning, but like it's like thrust vectoring. It's like your wheels are thrust vectoring one way, but your momentum's carrying you the other way, and you use that to sort of split the difference and go forward.
I could see how you would like that because of the drone stuff and you're changing direction all the time.
Totally.
And
it's like you said, it's the edge of out of control. It's right on the edge of out of control. That's what's so cool about it. And it's controlled though. Yeah,
with
good answer.
That actually brings up a good point for me. Like they just did a segment on the Supercross race about G-forces, right? Mm-hmm. So have you ever put because this was a huge thing for me. We had an accelerometer on the short course car, right? And have you ever put one on the drones?
Oh, I bet it's insane.
So they have one like on the flight controller. I typically disable it because I don't use any stabilized flight modes. And if you disable it, you can sort of like overclock everything else. You get more headroom on the processor. But It has one on there. I would have to like look it up to see what kind of G-forces we get. I don't know. It's a really good question.
So I was looking at, like, they were talking about some of the stuff. They had a Lit Pro on the guys at Supercross, and they were saying you could reach, what was it, 5 or 10 Gs or something like that. It wasn't.
I think it was 5 or 6 or something.
The maximum Gs that I ever reached in a short course car with that same accelerometer on my short course car was 25 Gs.
Holy crap!
Yeah, going into the first turn at Wild Horse Pass. 25 Gs.
See, dude, that first turn will shear an axle for on you, man. That's 25 Gs. That's
yep.
why.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. In a style, what was it, a pro stock?
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't believe it, though, because like I was thinking to myself, like, how is that even possible? I mean, it's probably for like a quarter of a second, but like to understand that you could pull, yeah, like that's crazy, right?
It is pretty insane.
All right.
It is.
What's the last one, Case?
Yeah, so we got out of hand here. This is usually his, so I'm gonna mess it up, I'm sure. So this is the final question.
Well, let's involve EGs in the last part of the question.
Okay, we will. Remember, these are profiling questions. So I want it like immediate. So here we go. Ready? Chips and guac, or fries and ketchup, or ranch. And these could be EG's fries.
Chips and guac.
Yeah,
yes, he still goes with the chips and guacs. Yes,
solid.
Love it.
Yeah, we definitely love it.
Chips and guac just make you feel good inside, whereas like when you're done eating a whole bunch of fries, it's like a little bit of like shame mixed with heavy. I don't like it.
Totally. It's like when you finish that awesome drone shot, right? And you're just like, I can't believe I'm having this much fun. That's how you feel when you have chips and guac.
Yeah, it really does.
When you get a big scoop of guac, it's really the pinnacle.
Well, we really appreciate everything, Jake. It was awesome to be able to catch up, and I want to catch up a little bit more, and we can go out to eat, and obviously we can go to your sister's restaurant when I get back to Southern California. So, you got anything else for him, Case?
No, it's good to catch up. It's been a while.
Dude, so great talking to you both, and please, anytime you're in the area, feel free to hit me up. Always got an extra room, and I'm always down for some RC bashing or getting some food or just talking dirt.
Yeah,
nice.
I think we can try to do all that stuff when I get up there. But yeah, and same goes back for you over here, man. So if you and the lady ever need a place to stay, you're welcome to come with us.
I'm way overdue for a trip through Arizona again. I have a lot of people who I've been neglecting. So
yeah, and I'm sure that
time for a trip through.
Thanks, Jessica. Jessica just commented in too. So I'm sure that your parents want to see you too. So all right, dude. Well, we really appreciate it, man. We'll catch up soon, I'm sure.
Thanks, guys. It was awesome talking to you.
Yeah, you as well. All right, thanks, Jake. We really appreciate it, man. Episode 44 was awesome, dude. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you later.
Later.
Dude, that was pretty cool, man. We've been on for a little while now, so we got to do one more thing. Thank you so much, Jake. That was it's super cool to catch up with him. Like
for sure.
We have to talk about this hat giveaway that we have though too. So one of our buddies, Billy Slade, he's BS 247365.
BS 24/7/365. I love it.
And his name's Billy Slade. So how good does that match?
Perfect.
So on Instagram, we're going to paste the link into the comments on the Facebook, and I'll try to do it on YouTube here. You guys want to go to his Instagram and check it out because he's got some hats that he's giving away, and he's actually doing a really good job on the. Actually, we can't. It doesn't look like we can actually comment in on our own YouTube, so you're gonna have to go to the Facebook page and check it out. But BS 247365 on Instagram. Go check out some of his latest posts. He's doing a giveaway for some Dirt Life hats. We weren't able to keep those things in our hands very long. They sold out within 24 hours, and we didn't even post them on the website. So he's got 2 of them that he's doing a giveaway for. So you guys got to get over there and check it out so that you guys can get a Dirt Life Show hat. Casey's got his own colors on his there. I got one of the old guys here, the camo ones, but he's got a red build one and a black one. So go over and check it out on Instagram. I think we actually posted on our Instagram too, so you can go over there to @the_Dirt_Life_Show and check it out. My bad for not thanking all of our sponsors earlier in the show. We got 2 commercial breaks with them in it today, so that was pretty cool. But thank you very much to the guys at Shock Therapy for always supporting us. They are just a fantastic company. You can use the code DIRTLIFE over at shocktherapist.com and save yourself yourself a whole bunch of money. Thank you to the guys at KMC Wheels. We really appreciate them. As always, they got a new commercial today, so that was pretty cool to see a UTV for a KMC commercial. So thank you to those guys for supporting us. We have some pretty cool stuff coming up in the following months with those guys. Thank you very much to the guys at Zollinger Racing Products. Travis Zollinger and all his guys over there do some fantastic products, radius rods, tie rods, all kinds of billets, aluminum stuff. You can use the code DIRTLIFE to save at ZollingerRacingProducts.com. You can save a whole bunch of money over there. They have a really cool Mint 400 video that we just finished producing for them. That's coming out this week before, as they're on their way to the Silver State 300 this week. And so good luck to those guys over there. Thank you to the guys at Rugged Radios. Please use the code DIRTLIFE at RuggedRadios.com and save yourself a whole bunch of money on communication over there. They got dirt bike stuff now, UTV stuff. Thank you very much to the guys at Solderweld. They gave us all this awesome stuff to give to you guys. So we're going to be doing a giveaway with their products. This is their new, what do they call it?
Welding blanket.
It's pretty cool because it has a slit in it and some magnets on it, and obviously you can put it everywhere, so you can
pretty rad.
Block a lot of stuff. A lot of the HVAC guys use this stuff to be able to protect it. So thank you very much to Lance and all the guys at Solderweld. Use the code DIRTLIFE at Solderweld.com, and you can save a whole bunch of money over there too. So like I said, make sure that you check out that link that we put. Visit BS247365 on Instagram, and you can win one of those hats. Next week's show is with my buddy, my personal friend, Don Smile. He has done a lot of stuff in the NASCAR industry, and he helped manage some of my program when we were doing some of the short course stuff in 2017. He was a really integral part of me learning a lot of the ins and outs of the motorsports industry. His level of expertise and level of knowledge is beyond. Like, if you've ever wanted to operate a program at a high level or get sponsors or anything like that, he has more knowledge than we could ever get in our whole life. So it's really cool. The people that he's worked with and the people that he's working with now are phenomenal. So we can't wait to talk to Don. He's got street and dirt life experience. So It'll be really, really cool to talk with him. Anybody else you wanted to thank, Case?
No, we're good. I do have a shock therapy testimony, but we'll save it for next week.
We can do it right now and then bring it up next week too.
Yeah. So a good buddy of mine and his son are big time off-roaders, and they have a Razor 1000. I think it's a turbo. Anyways,
is it a 4-seater or a 2-seater?
It's a 4-seater. I think he's got it on both actually of the cars. But anyways, this particular one, they were in the dunes. They had it done. They were all pumped on it, and they were taking a desert racing buddy, unnamed, not sure who this is, back to camp.
Everybody's best friends with Robbie Gordon these days, right?
Anyways, they were hauling what, and the guy in the passenger seat, he's a racer, but he was a passenger at this point, and he didn't tell them till later, but they were heading down Sand Highway, getting it 80 miles an hour or something, 70 miles an hour or something, and they were coming towards the big giant whoops, and he wasn't lifting because he knew how great this car handles with this stuff on it. And when they got back to the camp, he was like, dude, I was thinking to myself, hey, this is coming, and are you going to slow down or not? It was a limo going through there, so that's pretty cool.
So shock therapy hooked it up.
Shock therapy hooked it up.
Dude, so shock therapy turned him into Robbie Gordon.
Yeah,
absolutely. Dude, sweet. So I wonder if that other guy, the racer guy, was like, oh no,
Well,
man.
It's funny to think about that because, like, I know how I would be. Like, I'm not in control, but doesn't mean I don't trust the driver, but I'm not in control, and I'm holding this instead of this, So I thought it was pretty cool. We were laughing about it.
You have to trust the roll cage at that point,
totally
right?
do.
Well, that's cool that shock therapy got them working so well. So, let's talk about it next week too. Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. I didn't know that they did that. That's really, really neat. It's neat to see that our sponsors are like coming back in full circle. People are talking to you about it too.
It's pretty cool that they're doing it because it's a good product. Like, that's why, because it's a good product.
Absolutely.
Good service.
Yeah, Justin, Ernie, and everybody over there, Steve, all the guys. So, okay, cool. Well, yeah, like I said, you can save a whole bunch of money with to get shock therapy with the code DIRTLIFE. So, go get yourself a Robbie Gordon
so you can
permit.
Pin it down the Sand Highway and never lift.
Yeah, but don't crash, please.
Yeah,
we didn't condone crashing.
No.
So, like I said, Don Smile will be on next week. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Dirt Life Show, episode 44. Jake Yubeta was just a killer show. Thank you very much to Sara Price. We really look look forward to seeing what she does in the near future here
So
with Extreme.E. Yeah, and obviously thank you very much to Steve Westfall for calling in, and congratulations to him and his team for sweeping the podium at the last Supercross race. And I can just see great things in the future for him in the outdoor season.
No doubt.
So, all right. Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate all you guys tuning in. As usual, we love you, and good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.